to keep our communities moving forward.
Years. That's a lot of stories. Stories of first steps and first checkups. Of an Idaho invention that opened up new terrain. Of fishtails and dad jokes. Of frozen potatoes. As Idaho's first health insurer, Blue Cross of Idaho was there for you then. We're here for you now, and we'll be there for every story to come.
Time for today's Keys to the Game, presented by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Don't miss the ultimate sports experience at Northern Quest with game day grub at Epic Sports Bar. Northern Quest, yes, the best. Bill.
Well, you know, if you're Idaho, you got to find Nate Bell. And, you know, you're going to spy him, or you're going to, you got to keep somebody on him. So, you know, he is the catalyst for this Eastern offense, and Idaho's got to pay attention to that. I think offensively, you know, do you want to throw the ball? Eastern's been really a team that's had a hard time stopping the pass. Do you want to, try to, control the passing game to set up the run? So far, it seems like they want to run the ball. On the Eastern side, you got to control the line of scrimmage. Idaho comes in with an offensive line who has had the same starting unit all season. Eastern's going to have to contend with that. And then what has the bye impact been? A lot of times people think that coming off of a bye is a benefit, but, in my observation, Austin, teams, they get a slow start coming off the bye. They haven't played in a couple of weeks, especially for Eastern coming off that big win against Portland State. They've got some momentum. Can they carry that through for 2 weeks? It's still early in the game, but how does the bye impact this Eagles team?
Northern Quest Keys to the Game. Eastern Washington picks up 3 yards on a Nate Bell scramble on first down. This time Bell will throw. It's incomplete. So now quickly to another third down. If you're just now joining us, it has been 3 possessions, 0 punts, 3 straight turnovers on downs forced by these defenses. Idaho was able to pick up a couple first downs on their last drive. But now Eastern Washington faced with a 3rd and 7.
Like Zach Crotcher got in and got a hand on that last throw to knock it down, force the incompletion.
Bell drops back. Looks like they set up the quarterback draw, and he's got enough for the first down.
Yeah, and they'll run those design quarterback runs. They won't hesitate to put Bell out in space and let him go ahead and take it. Nicely blocked up front. Big pickup there on 3rd down in a spot of the field where, again, I think Eastern certainly happy to give themselves 4 opportunities to pick up a first down. Now that they're inside Idaho territory.
Fakes the handoff, throws it out. Here's Nolan Olm. Nowhere really to run as the Vandals rally to the football. Deuce Blenman in on that tackle, as was safety Zach Wustig.
Yeah, this is someone who I think, Austin, has really been sort of a forgotten man on the offense for Eastern. Olm has been so steady throughout his career here, just hasn't gotten a lot of targets. It'd be great to see them get him going a bit.
102nd reception, I should say, of his career. And it gains 2. Vandals bring the pressure. Man wide open over the middle. It's Cronquist. And he's tripped up at the 15-yard line. But the Eags return to the red zone after they turned it on downs down here on their first possession.
Really great read here from Nate Bell. Just saw that they were bringing heat. That means you're going to leave a spot open in the middle of the field. Gets to Cronquist. Really nice job there, Caleb Ricks. tripping him up before he could pick up that first down.
End zone, incomplete. What a play to break that up on the far side, as that was about to be 6, but Blenman knocked it away.
Yeah, Cronquist is going to kick himself on that one. He really should have had that one. I think that's Cronquist, hard to tell. Or maybe that's actually, is that number 8?
Yeah,
is that
that's
Williams?
Miles Williams.
Miles Williams, yeah, Miles Williams. Probably should have that football. Couldn't have placed the ball any better if you're Nate Bell. Should have made that catch.
So incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10. About 4.5 minutes remaining. We're scoreless here in the first and Cheney. Bell, play action, rolls right, looking, still looking, and now is just going to have to float it for the sideline. It's out of bounds, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
You see there, Idaho finally brings somebody in just to watch number 2, Dylan Lane, the linebacker, was spying on Bell the entire time, wasn't allowing him to get downfield, ran laterally, kept a good angle, and forced just the throw out of bounds from the quarterback of Eastern.
3rd down. Eags, you would think, are in field goal territory. It would be about a 35-yarder from here.
Again, I think if they pick up enough yards here on 3rd down, would Aaron Best roll the dice? I think if you pick up 7 to 8 yards at the minimum, he may think about it.
Vandals rush 3. Bell drops back, throws for the end zone. It is tipped up and knocked away. Nearly a touchdown, but a touchdown-saving pass broken up from Caleb Ricks.
I'll tell you what, Caleb Ricks, a couple times during this drive, looked like Branch had a real chance here, gets the football, and then Ricks just comes in with a terrific play to separate the ball from the receiver. That's twice on this drive. Ricks really saved touchdowns, I think. So credit him for forcing this field goal from Eastern.
And then it popped up in the air, could have been intercepted. Instead, on to attempt the field goal is Soren McKee from the left hash. Hasn't had a lot of action this year, just 2 of 3. He boots this one up, and it is good. So the Eags are the first on the board, courtesy of a field goal from Soren McKee. 3-0 Eastern Washington. We'll see how the Vandals respond when we return here on SWX.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So, you're not a robot?
If you'd like to speak to a robot, press 1. A little robot humor? How can I help? Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
At Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino, indulgence knows no bounds, and every moment is a winning experience. Unwind in style with luxury rooms, stellar live entertainment, and delicious dining for every appetite. Whether you're looking for an adrenaline-packed weekend or a midweek recharge in total comfort, we've got something for everyone. Thrill meets chill at Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino. You just unwind here.
Healing is happening right now, down the street and around the corner. Because for 140 years, MultiCare has been in Washington State. Investing in care beyond hospital walls, growing local programs, and expanding healthcare access to those who need it most. MultiCare, because healthy communities need more than healthcare.
Out here, the turf stands red, and our roots run deep.
For 40 years, Holiday Heating, Cooling, and Electric has been keeping homes across the Inland Northwest comfortable, warm, and powered.
Because this is our home turf too. And we live here, you take care of your neighbors. We're proud to partner with EW Athletics, and we're proud to service the homes that make this place special, with the precision of an engineer and the comfort of a Holiday. Holiday Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
College football on SWX, presented by Inland Power and Light Company, powering our community since 1937. Here on a cloudy but dry day so far in Cheney, the Eastern Washington Eagles leading 3-0 over their rival Idaho Vandals from 72 miles south Awesome. You guys, Bill Ains joining you on the call. Bill, you mentioned it as soon as we went to break. 4 possessions, 3 points, 0 punts in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been entertaining. It's been fast-paced. I think both coaches putting a lot of faith in their defense by going for it on 4th down a few different times. And most impressive, Austin, the fact that it's 72 miles between here and Moscow, Idaho.
I may have looked it up.
You didn't mark it off yourself? Sure. You didn't make a
I've made
quick
the drive.
I think
normal
you've made
times,
the drive a few times, yeah.
About an hour and 15 minutes, depending on what back roads you take and how fast you put the pedal to the metal.
Well, it could take you a few extra minutes to get through step-toe.
Could. Stop and see the sights.
You can. Well.
You definitely don't want to speed through Colfax. All that squared away, the run-up and the boot. This will go for a touchback, so the Vandals will come back out. Bill, we saw a mix of Rocco Koch and Jack Wagner on that last drive for Idaho. We also saw that mix last week. Rocco more of the run threat, hasn't thrown the ball, but the Vandals do think he can throw it, so you're wondering when that pass or that play action could come out and try to catch the Eags flat-footed.
Well, I think what it really answers for me is that Joshua Wood certainly is not going to play in this game, despite the fact that we saw him pretty active in warm-ups. It just, he's not going to go. So, and it looks like it's going to be Koch to actually start this drive. So they'll keep us guessing. He is by far the bigger threat running the football. Will they put it in his hands to throw it at any point? That's the question. And here it starts with a big run on 1st down.
Yeah, hard hit. And I want you to watch, if we take another look at this, number 37, that's Hayden Kinchelow, and Koch and Kinchelow have to be best friends, because watch the lead blocking from number 37 here as he just flies through that hole, and at 5'10", 235 pounds, he can clear space in a hurry.
Well, if you've watched any Eastern Washington football, it's going to remind you a lot of Jared Taylor. You talked about that, the fact that he loves to get in there, have that lead blocker from the back position, and he just lowers his head and picks up big yards. So, whether or not Koch can do it through the air, we'll find out. But it's going to be another run here on 1st down and able to pick up positive yards and keep going.
Spins off Rocco Koch inside the 25 and looking for more. What a run there. Rocco Koch was stopped dead in his tracks multiple times and just kept finding red turf to run over.
Well, it's just a great job by Koch, just keeping the legs pumping, but they're going to get a holding call on the offense, so that's going to bring back the big game. But still, I'll tell you what, if you're Idaho, you got to feel good about the play despite the hold. And if you're Eastern, this has been their problem all year, just making the simple tackle. They cannot, they have not done a good job on one-on-one tackling. If they get a lot of bodies to the ball, they're okay. But if they're out in space against the ball carrier, whether it's a running back, quarterback, wide receiver, you name it, they have trouble, and you saw evidence of it there. Koch's got to be really disappointed after that big gain.
Now, the holding penalty did happen a little bit down the field, so it does back the Vandals up, wipes out what was a 47-yard gain, but it is just 1st and 4 here at the 45. Now this is Jack Wagner back in the game, and he will pull it. We don't see Jack run it a lot, but he's got a 1st down and more inside the Eagle 40.
Well, and again, that's Eastern just figuring, number 10's in the game. He's not going to keep, and yet he does, and has a wide lane. So just a great job of reading. If you're playing that edge for Eastern, you got to do a much better job of contain and just holding that edge.
This time a handoff. Cummings right into the teeth of the defense. Falls forward for maybe a yard.
I really like the pace of this Idaho offense. They're moving quick. They're not really bringing in a lot of substitutions, which means Eastern has to play with the 11 that they have out there. Here comes some substitutions now for Idaho. Eastern will do the same. But for the most part, Idaho has played with a tempo that's kept Eastern off balance.
They've kept the ball in their hands. Their time of possession over 7 minutes of this first quarter, as they've now got a 2nd and 8 inside the Eastern 40. Wagner drops back this time. Looking, firing's got his man and got another 1st down. And that is Nolan McWilliams on the pickup.
Yeah, just nice patience there from Wagner. I think that was really his 3rd read before he comes back to McWilliams. He looks off to his right a couple of times. Nothing there. Again, good protection up front. Not much of a pass rush from Eastern. Finds that option and gets to McWilliams with a nice, easy throw. Remember, this is an Idaho offensive line that's been together the entire season, which is so important for an offense.
They have been the strength of this offense so far this season, regardless of who's been at quarterback. Wagner drops back, hit hard as he throws. He lofts it up. McCraney makes the catch. Touchdown, Idaho.
You couldn't have placed that ball any better. McCready just goes up, late hands, able to make the play. The defensive back had no opportunity to even turn around because he was so late in bringing those hands up. Couldn't react. Ball's placed perfectly, and boy, Idaho with a really nice answer after a couple of failed fourth down conversions.
First career touchdown for the redshirt freshman, 26 yards. And Wagner paid for it too as he was hit hard. On for the extra point. And make it a 7-3 ball game. That one is up and through from Owen Adams. And that'll make it a 7-3 lead for Idaho. Eastern Washington getting the ball when we come back here on SWX.
For every night out, there's a sober ride home. And for every sober ride, you know who to call? The designated driver. Whether it's a ride share, the bus, or that super nice friend who's always got your back. Sober drivers get us home safe. So treat your DD to an NA drink, and let's raise a glass to the unsung heroes. Cheers to the DD.
When we were deployed, the focus was always on the mission at hand. Using tobacco didn't seem near as dangerous as the missions we were doing. Quitting, that was something we could do later. Well, later comes around a lot quicker than you think. I made the choice to be tobacco-free so I could be here with my family. Your future is worth defending. You decide when, Project Filter will show you how. Visit projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
College football on SWX, brought to you in part by Findlay Downtown Toyota on 3rd Street. If you're looking to score the best deals on your favorite Toyotas, come to Findlay. Take another look at the 26-yard touchdown throw from Jack Wagner. That man, Marquand McCraney, which has the Idaho Vandals up 7-3.
Yeah, you can see it here. Does take a shot right at the end of the throw, but places it perfectly. And we talked about the late hands by the receiver. Defensive back has no opportunity to turn around. McCraney, really well done, and then secures the football for the 6. And a good answer for Idaho. A couple of disappointing drives to start the game. Got a little bit things going, both run and pass. Let's see if the defense can keep it going now.
Owen Forsman run up and a low liner of a kick, maybe trying to keep it away from Noah Cronquist. As this one bounces all the way back to the 1-yard line, he's got to field it from there. Cronquist, one of the most dangerous return men in the Big Sky. This one goes to the 15-yard line, and a bit of shoving afterwards that's not going to lead to anything extra personal.
Yeah, good job there by Idaho on the kick. Just a low-line drive, let the bounce sort of throw the return game off, and Cronquist had a hard time fielding it. So good field position for this defense of Idaho to try to keep Eastern from answering. This is something that Eastern's done a pretty good job of so far this year at home, is answering the opposition's touchdowns. Nate Bell in particular, although this is a defense that comes in with a lot of confidence.
Just over a minute to go, and we'll be stopped on our tracks before we get started here.
It's like timeout Idaho to start this series.
Timeout. Idaho. Their first time out of the half.
Maybe we're
This is a
worried
30-second
about
timeout.
giving up a big play, as Thomas Ford Jr. has to burn his first time out here on the first play of a drive.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure if it was that, Austin, or perhaps they didn't have enough men on the field sometimes with the different packages that you want to get out there. If you don't have everybody either in the right position or the sheer numbers that you need, you're going to go ahead and burn that time out. Don't give up that big play, especially here on first down when you've got the advantage on field position.
So after the stoppage, Eagles come back out, starting this drive on their own 15-yard line after the well-executed squib kick. Bell hands this one off. This is Kevin Allen. He's got nowhere to run. Dropped right around the line of scrimmage by Isaiah King, a name you will hear frequently and with a lot of intensity on this Idaho defense.
He just flies sideline to sideline. So if you think you're going to be able to stretch something out in the running game in particular, if you're Eastern, King is going to be able to run it down. I think north-south is going to be a far better option for this Eastern offense.
Bell drops back. He's got all day looking, firing for the sideline, and he's got his man. What a throw on the run. And coming out of the fray with it was Wesley Garrett with a big pickup.
Yeah, it's a nice job of patience by Bell. Keeps his eyes downfield and an on-target throw to the receiver, Garrett, who just did a nice job of just scramble drill there. You're taught as a receiver, once you see your quarterback scrambling around, just stay in phase. Make sure you keep yourself open, and Garrett did a really nice job of that and working the sideline at the same time. Aaron Best going to be happy with that as well.
Just his 5th catch of the season, but he's been a big play target. As that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. The Vandals leading 7-3 on the road here in Cheney, but Eastern Washington driving. When we come back and start the second quarter here on SWX.
For every night out, there's a sober ride home. And for every sober ride, you know who to call? The designated driver. Whether it's a ride share, the bus.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, the official beer of the Big Sky Conference. Brewed with the rugged spirit of the West. Jeremiah Johnson is simply a world-class, straightforward, no-nonsense beer. Do well.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
All right. Thanks. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
We never set out to be the largest casino resort in the Pacific Northwest. We just wanted to be the best. But we forgot that being the best means more guests wanting more action, more jackpots, more big-name entertainment, more pedicures. Well, more everything. Until one day, you look up and realize, we need a new hotel tower. The new River Tower, to be exact. Northern Quest in Spokane, Washington. Now the largest. And yes, still the best.
The secret to happiness is discovering your spot. It could be over the mountain or deep beneath the stream. In a quiet place, in a wild place. The question is, where does your spot take you? Pocatello. Life is good here.
Basketball fans, Starch Madness is back, returning to downtown Boise in Idaho Central Arena this March 7th to 11th.
With Montana and on to the NCAA tournament.
Experience Boise's vibrant downtown with walkable restaurants, hotels, and championship basketball. Make your travel plans today at visitboise.com or by scanning this QR code. March starts in Boise.
As the sun rises over the Rocky Mountains on a new era, we stand on a foundation etched in stone. Built on the backs of legends, All-Americans, and national champions, we've made our mark not only in the West, but across the nation and the globe. Through perseverance and commitment to a world-class student-athlete experience, we've set ourselves apart from our peers as an untraveled road lies ahead. We are the Big Sky Conference, where experience is elevated.
Today's coverage of college football on SWX is brought to you in part by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Don't miss the ultimate sports experience at Northern Quest. Game day grub at Epic Sports Bar. Northern Quest, yes, the best. Here we are in Cheney, the familiar red turf of Roos Field, as it's a 7-3 lead for the Idaho Vandals. But the Eastern Washington Eagles with the ball here to start the second quarter and a good push forward. A carry up to near the 45-yard line. Austin Getz and Bill Ames joining you. Bill, we promised it might be a quick first quarter in terms of how much running we had in that one. It's exactly what we got.
Well, quicker than we thought. Certainly with some of the defensive stops early, you weren't sure how this was going to go. Nice pickup, though, on first down there by Allen. 6 yards on first down. You take that every time, especially a player like Nate Bell.
Here's a throw out. And diving forward for just enough for a first down is Cole Pruitt, as the Eags a yard away from cracking into Vandal territory.
Yeah, really did that one on his own. Not much blocking downfield, but found enough of a seam, picked up the first down.
Bell drops back again. Now takes off and will go forward for about 2 or 3 yards. I'll tell you what, the Eastern Washington offensive line is doing well against a pretty good defensive front from Idaho, Bill, of giving Bell just enough time to make a decision, but you got to make that decision quick.
I think that's the key, Austin. I think that they're giving him just enough time to make the quick decision, but then he has to go, and 4 yards on first down, they'll take that every time.
Throws, tipped up in the air and intercepted! And it's Deuce Blendman who comes down with it.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a bad decision by Bell to try to throw the ball into traffic. It gets tipped, and then the defensive back, Blendman, comes down with it. But you see here, he's got all kinds of time. Nice job moving his feet, just tries to fit something in there, and it gets tipped. Blendman able to track the ball down. Great play by Idaho, but Bell is going to want that one back because it just, one that he probably shouldn't have thrown.
And who else but Isaiah King to tip it up in the air and allow Blendman to come down with his first career interception.
And in a game where your possessions are probably going to be at a premium today because of the way Idaho likes to hold on the ball, you don't want to give it away via the turnover, certainly if you're Eastern Washington. So see if the defense can pick them up here.
Elisha Cummings stopped after a gain of about 1.
Wagner back in the game for Idaho, running the show.
These are two teams that have not been good in the turnover margin. Both came in -4, meaning they had 4 more giveaways than they had takeaways.
Yeah, here comes Koch. Feels like I'm just going to sit here and watch the quarterback substitutions partner because it feels like Idaho will just interchange them throughout series when needed. If they allow him to throw the ball, that might be the biggest surprise.
We'll see what happens here. 2nd down and 8. Vandals with the ball inching towards midfield after the interception. This time it's a handoff to Cummings. Cummings forward for another gain of 3. But a 3rd down looms here as Eastern trying to get the ball back for their offense.
They'll bring Thomason, quarterback, and Wagner. So you're assuming that, probably a 3rd down pass here if you're Idaho. We haven't seen Eastern blitz much this year. They usually just bring 3 or 4 and play coverage. Looks like you might see that again here and give Wagner perhaps a little more time than he would like.
Wagner was 5 for 5 in the air in the first quarter. He has all day, throws over the middle, and that one's intercepted. Jalen Jenkins, his third straight game with a pick.
Well, you miss your fourth down, I'll miss mine. You throw an interception, I'll throw one for you. It's just like a, give and take right now for these two offenses. Great job by Jenkins to step in and make that play. Probably a ball that either shouldn't have been thrown or you got to throw it out in front of the receiver to give him a chance to make the catch. Eastern only brought 3 on pressure. Wagner had all kinds of times to throw and just made a bad throw, bad decision, and Eastern gets the ball back in midfield.
I should say it's Jenkins' third interception of the year. The streak of consecutive interceptions is for the team, and it's now 5 straight games that the Eastern defense has come away with an interception in the game.
And couldn't have come at a better time because you felt like Idaho there after scoring that touchdown, if they could get down there and put more points on the board, put a lot of pressure on Eastern. So it's not often that Eastern defense has been able to come in and help their offense out. Oh, what a catch.
Oh, that was.
What a great catch there. I think that was that Williams, Miles Williams?
Yes, it was.
Now they may take a look at this to see if he had control of the ball.
Oh.
I don't know, partner. I think he might have bobbled. They're going to take a look at this.
They are. The reason I was hesitating was I was trying to make sure my eyes were not deceiving me. The first down carry that went for 1 yard was Jared Taylor's first snap at running back that went forward for 1 yard, and then it's followed up for, at the moment, a catch for about 8 yards from Miles Williams, but they will go to the replay booth.
And we have the benefit up here of having the replay booth right next to us. We'll take another look at it here. Bell throws it perfectly. And I think if he catches it clean there, he's good.
Yeah,
but it's the bobble that's going to, yeah. And they're looking at it next door here. Austin often wonders why I'm not making eye contact with him here in the booth. I just go straight to our neighbors next door to see what they're looking at in the replay booth. I think this one's got to be obvious, don't you?
I would think so. Want to make sure you take a good look, see all angles. But it did see, as Miles had to go up and re-grab it, that it was incomplete. And that was Caleb Ricks in coverage. So again, Ricks not giving up when the ball first gets to the receiver. That's twice now, at least it appears, that he's going to be credited with passes broken up on plays that the receiver was able to get their hands on it first.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's had a big role here in the first half, made a lot of different plays. That one, nice ball, though, by Bell.
Get another look at it. There's no question the ball doesn't hit the ground, but watch as Williams has to re-grab it. His knees might be down out of bounds. That would mean he would be out of bounds and therefore would not be a catch.
I think the only thing that, or the one thing to keep in mind is it was called a catch on the field. So if they don't find anything that conclusively, indicates that it was incomplete, then they're going to stand with the way it was called on the field. And sometimes when you see it drag out like this, that tells me that they're not entirely sure. So would they just let it stand because they don't have enough to overturn? Hard to say. I felt like we saw enough where they could go ahead and overturn it, but we'll see what happens here.
One more look at it.
There's a catch. Bobble. Catch there, maybe.
And it might have even hit the ground. I said it hadn't, but I think that also hit the ground.
Yeah, I'm with you, Austin. I feel like that's incomplete.
A referee today, Mike Besner. He's making his communication with the replay booth.
Could be talking now about where was the original line of scrimmage. Although you see that, right, it looks like he was right about the 50-yard line. So it's either going to be third and 9 or 3rd and 1, depending on this call.
It's a big one. And there you get a look at Eastern Washington head coach Aaron Best, his 99th game as head coach today. And plenty more games spent on an Eastern Washington sideline and on the field of a Eagle lifetime that dates back 30 years since he arrived in Cheney.
I'm a little surprised he's not down there a little closer to the monitor trying to, maybe help out a little bit.
Here's Besner.
Take a look.
After review, the receiver did not maintain possession of the ball before going out of bounds. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Well spotted, incomplete pass, so it will be a 3rd down and 9. But put your eyes on the Eastern backfield. That is Jared Taylor next to Nate Bell. And of course, if you have somebody who can throw in your backfield, just because something is handoff or pitch doesn't mean that's the only time you'll see the ball in the air during a snap.
Yeah, 100%. And look at this Idaho defense. No one down with hands in the dirt. They're all standing up, coming after the quarterback.
Bell trying to escape the pressure, throws over the middle. It's incomplete. And I would imagine we're about to see our first punt of the day.
Yeah, hard to imagine that we're 19 minutes into the game and this is our first punt. And again, Bell gets away with the one there. He tries to kind of escape out to the left, throw the ball into traffic, and fortunately for him, the ball was kind of thrown short, or else Idaho probably would have had a chance to pick that one off as well.
And that's Landon Ogles back for his first punt today. Comes into this game averaging over 41 yards per punt. Late substitution, so they have to allow Idaho to run somebody on. They don't need to. Ogles has dropped 11 punts inside the 20, I should say. Good snap, rolls a little bit in the left-footed boot. On the way, is it going to bounce and head right for the pylon and go out of bounds at the 1. We had to wait to see a punt, but we saw one that was worth the wait, Bill.
I'll tell you what, yeah, you had to wait a long time, but you couldn't have placed it any better. Ball hits right around the 10-yard line, right at the numbers, takes a nice left-hand turn. Idaho's going to have to go 99 if they want to put this one in the end zone.
Healing is happening right now, down the street and around the corner. Because for 140 years, MultiCare has been in Washington State. Investing in care beyond hospital walls, growing local programs, and expanding healthcare access to those who need it most. MultiCare, because healthy communities need more than healthcare.
What the tech? Bad office tech is the worst. But guess what? You don't have to put up with it anymore. Fisher's technology makes IT, printing, and security crazy easy so you can focus on what really matters. We're your local tech experts with personality, proudly serving the Northwest with managed IT services, copiers and printers, document automation, security cameras, and more. We make office tech simple and stress-free. So if your office needs a tech glow up, it's time to call Fisher's. Tech yeah.
Out here, the turf stands red, and our roots run deep.
For 40 years, Holiday Heating, Cooling, and Electric has been keeping homes across the Inland Northwest comfortable, warm, and powered.
Because this is our home turf too. And we live here, you take care of your neighbors. We're proud to partner with EW Athletics, and we're proud to service the homes that make this place special, with the precision of an engineer and the comfort of a Holiday. Holiday Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
College football on SWX is brought to you in part by Titan Truck Equipment. Northwest, family owned. Outfit your truck by visiting us in Spokane Valley, and follow Titan Truck on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. After a 49-yard punt that went out of bounds at the 1-yard line from Landon Ogles, the Eastern Washington Eagles have the Idaho Vandals pinned at their 1-yard line. Austin gets Bill Ames. Bill, you talked about how Eastern doesn't blitz a lot, but in a situation like this, you're tempted to send the house, see if you can tackle somebody in the end zone.
Well, yeah, and you got Wagner back there for Idaho. I would have thought you'd seen Koch here trying to just grind out some yards, give your offense a little bit of room.
They gave it to the short yardage back, lead blocker, whatever you want to call it, Hayden Kinchlow. He gets the job done. You call on 37 when you need a yard or two, and he gives the offense a little bit of breathing room.
Well, yeah, on this offensive line, as Koch comes back into the ball game, this offensive line probably challenged there during the timeout to say, look, we are not going to throw the ball here. We're just going to pin our ears back and run it. And that 5-yard gain on first down really makes a huge difference.
Goes for a gain of 5, 2nd and 5 coming up. And here's Koch looking to follow Nate Thomas as a lead blocker. Eastern rallies to the football. It is a gain of 3, but it is a 3rd down coming up here, and Eastern Washington with a chance to put the pressure on. Idaho's still leading this game as we've got 10 minutes to go before halftime.
Yeah, the Vandals keep Koch in the ball game. Hasn't thrown the ball yet. Not one who's known to throw the ball very much, and with a couple of yards still to gain, do you put the ball in his hands to try to pick it up through the air here?
3rd and short. Koch straight ahead. It depends on the spot. It looks like he's got enough to move the chains. He does. So that'll be a 1st down for Idaho.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, Austin, for me to watch these offenses. Jared Taylor was the same way. You know what's coming. You know that more than likely he's just going to run that power right. And yet defenses have such a hard time stopping him from picking up the 1st down.
Idaho needed to get to the 11. They maybe got to the 11 and a half. Nate Thomas remains in the game in the backfield. I haven't seen Nate carry the ball too much in this game. Well, maybe a bit of a botch play there as Koch looked like he was trying to hand it to him. It was actually Wagner back in the game. Wagner able to turn it into a positive play, though, for a gain of about 1 or 2.
Got more out of it than he probably should have, given the sort of the confusion there at the point of the handoff. Decides to keep and picks up some positive yards. Eastern a little slow to react.
You go back to Wagner. Last season, he saw a lot of the field after then starter Jack Lane got injured early in the season. Games he was a starter, the Vandals were excellent. He was 6-2 in games that he lined up as the starting quarterback. So he's capable. Does have an interception, but also has a touchdown in this game. Throws over the middle. This one's tipped and incomplete. Jalen Jenkins right around the ball. Isaiah Perez might have gotten his hand on that one.
You know, and if you're Idaho right now, you've got an interesting decision to make. Wagner stays in the game. He's your throwing quarterback. You're going to bring some extra receivers in. But, you know, remember the last time he threw the ball downfield, it was picked off. So you're deep in your own territory, 3rd and 7. Do you go ahead and let him try to make a throw down the field? Do you go more conservative? A lot of question here with this Idaho staff of what to do on this important 3rd down.
Ball on their own 15. Here's Idaho on 3rd down. Wagner's has the ball knocked out and right back at him. That's incomplete, and that will put on the Vandal punt team.
Yeah, Idaho just decides to bring pressure, and Wagner, you're going to see it here. He's looking out to his right the entire time. Idaho or Eastern with such great penetration, really know where to fit the ball in.
Cameron Pope is on to punt. Now, he is a place kicker by trade, but did punt last week against Northern Colorado. He puts the right foot into this one. It is a good punt that drives back Noah Cronquist, and he's still on his feet looking for room. Cronquist trying to cut back into the teeth of the coverage and makes a nice little return out of it. Eastern Washington will take over at their 42-yard line when we return. 8 minutes to go in the first half, a 7-3 ball game.
In fact, we love them so much they're a $1.3 billion part of who we are. So what would happen if a worm thin as human hair wreaked havoc on our potato crop? Not on our watch. See, the University of Idaho does vital research to ensure we've got potatoes, as well as all the other great things we make in Idaho.
You in? Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So, you're not a robot?
If you'd like to speak to a robot, press 1. A little robot humor? How can I help? Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
At Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino, indulgence knows no bounds, and every moment is a winning experience. Unwind in style with luxury rooms, stellar live entertainment, and delicious dining for every appetite. Whether you're looking for an adrenaline-packed weekend or a midweek recharge in total comfort, we've got something for everyone. Thrill meets chill at Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino. You just unwind here.
At Eastern Washington University, computer scientists are building a U.S. Cyber Defense Center to contain cybersecurity threats. Physical and occupational therapy students are empowering children with disabilities to be successful and confident. And history students are working with the National Park Service to create living histories of our public lands. An interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world? That's the new thing. It is Eastern Washington and you. Apply today at ewu.edu.
College football on SWX is presented in part by P1FCU. Are you looking for a free checking account? P1FCU's Ascend Checking is a free checking account that can earn you dividends. Open your account at P1FCU.org. Just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. The Eastern Washington Eagles have the ball near midfield, but trail on the scoreboard 7-3. Austin gets Bill Ames joining you. Bill, it feels like Eastern has made the biggest splash plays in this game outside of the touchdown to Idaho. Feels like they've, I don't want to say been in control of this game, but it's almost surprising to look up there and see that they are trailing. As here's Nate Bell on a design quarterback run. That'll be just short of the first down, but a 9-yard pickup on first.
Well, I think these are the splash plays you're talking about, Austin. It's been Nate Bell. We really haven't seen much out of anyone else in the offense. Eastern's coming out here to start with 5 wide. Now they bring it back in, but still very receiver heavy to start this drive.
Bell, pressure coming, throws, and it is incomplete. Tried to get it into Garrett. Ricks in coverage down the field.
Yeah, I really like that call, though. Second and short. Go ahead and take your shot. A little bit of a back shoulder there. Garrett not able to get around. Almost makes a nice catch, but how about Ricks one more time to break it up? He's had a nice half here.
He has been excellent, as has this Idaho defensive secondary after they were gashed last week.
Again, but Eastern, I like the fact they go quick. They try to catch Idaho napping on second and short. Gives you a chance here on third down. Again, short conversion.
Bell straightforward, hit at the line. He's short. This will bring up fourth down. Dylan Lane in on the tackle, as I believe was Mitch Jaskoak.
Yeah, and I gotta believe Eastern's going to go for it here. I mean, you don't do that if you're planning to punt it on fourth down. So they'll bring a little bit of a heavy personnel.
Yeah, they're staying out there.
Yeah, it's in a running back, but again, Bell has opted to keep in most cases.
Eagles were stuffed on their first fourth down attempt earlier in this game. He follows his blocker, and he's got enough for the first down this time. Nate Bell, with now 8 carries in the game, has not popped a big one yet, but is doing enough to keep Eastern's offense on the field, as that's a first down with 6.5 minutes to go.
Well, much better job there by Eastern, utilizing Yates as a lead blocker. Bell can follow him. Goes to pick up his towel so he can start the play the right way here.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
Oh, snap over his head, and that will be a major loss. Bell got back to it, or Ricks was going to scoop and score, and that will be a loss of about 20 or more.
Well, these are the unforced errors that you just absolutely can't have. Again, that ball nowhere close to being able to be caught by Bell. And nice job there by the quarterback just to fall on it, not to create an even worse situation for his offense.
So it officially a loss of 22. Just a tough snap from Mark Johnson, who started every game this season at center. Bell throws over the middle, gets a good chunk of that yardage back, but it is going to bring up 3rd and long. But he fired a strike in there. I think that was Garrett once again.
That's Garrett again, and you're right. I really like this play. I mean, you're not going to get all 32 back on one play, so just get chunks. You get there one on 2nd down. If you can maybe get another 10 or so, then you think about going forward on 4th down. Don't try to get it all right here.
Remember, last time you sent the punt team out, you had Idaho on their own 1 starting the next drive. Eastern Washington will receive the second half kickoff as well. Keep that in mind. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. 3rd and long. Bell dances around a man trying to get to him, throws it out, and might have a chance to get that 4th down opportunity, partner, as here's Yates all the way up to turn this from 1st and 32 to 4th and 2.
Yeah, I mean, really nice job there by Bell. First of all, let's talk about this offensive line. Giving him the time to throw, looks to his check down, Yates, and then picks up just enough here to, again, on 4th and 2, give them a realistic chance.
And they're keeping the offense out. They are keeping Yates out there as well in the backfield. 4th down. Bell follows his blocker, looks for the lane, finds the lane, and that's a 1st down pickup, erasing a 22-yard loss. I don't know how many drives you will see that stay alive as you are facing 2nd and 32.
Well, we got a long way to go, a lot of plays between now and the end of this game. But if Eastern's able to win this game and they score on this drive, we may want to think back to that conversion from 2nd and 32.
Handoff, but nowhere to go. Matthias McLean blows that play up as he almost took that handoff himself.
He's like, yeah, you're going to go ahead and convert on 2nd and 32, and I'm going to stop this one. Shaking his head there. Just like, nope, I saw that one coming the whole way.
3 minutes, just over it to go. Eastern Washington trails with the football here. Bell, well protected again, throws another one over the middle. Boy, Eastern Washington really finding some soft spots in that defense, as this time it's Jackson Branch with the grab.
Again, he has time to throw. Set back there, just nice job just throwing over that front foot, putting it right on him to pick up the 1st down. Nice job by this Eastern offense.
Eastern Washington inside the red zone. Kevin Allen, the running back in the game. Play action, throws it out. This is in the always shifty Noah Cronquist's hand, but nowhere to go there as Wustig gets him down. Either a loss of 1 or no gain. It's a negative play, though, if you are the Eastern offense. Positive play for the Vandals.
Always a tough play when you're the safety with one-on-one there against a running back or a wide receiver. And Wustig just frames him up perfectly, wraps up, and brings him down for the loss. But here's where Idaho's had trouble. I mean, think back, obviously, the 2nd and 32, although Eastern's going to take a timeout here.
It's actually the 2-minute timeout as first half draws close to ending, but Eastern Washington trying to get on the board before it does. 7-3, 2 minutes to go before halftime. Today's presentation of college football on SWX is brought to you by Inner Demon Motorsports, located in Hayden, Idaho. Inner Demon Sports, powered by Heatercraft, will keep you warm in your UTV or boat year-round. 7-3, but if you're just looking at the score to determine how exciting this game has been, I'm afraid you are mistaken. This has been a thrilling back-and-forth game. And the Eastern Washington Eagles on offense here, facing a 2nd and 12. Down 7-3, but a chance to go into the locker room with potentially a lead if they could find the end zone for the first time today. Nate Bell drops back, holds the football, gets away from trouble, throws, and his receiver falls down. It's an incomplete pass. That'll bring up 3rd down. Does stop the clock as well at minute and 54 seconds.
Yeah, it looked like he had, either an alley to run or a nice easy pitch and catch to his receiver Williams, not able to convert there.
So 3rd and 12.
Tell you what, 7-3 inside of 2 minutes in the second quarter here in the Inferno. I'm not sure the last time we've seen that.
No, typically seeing a higher total of points in this game. Big 3rd down. Vandals, once again, don't send a lot of pressure, not when you can tackle like that. So that'll be a 4th down coming up as Lustig is able to get Cronquist down to the ground. And the Eastern Washington Eagles will send out the field goal unit. And the clock running right now. Kind of surprised that Thomas Ford Jr. doesn't want to use a timeout here. And just as I say that, I believe they will stop the clock. Minute and 32 seconds remaining, so you know you're Idaho. Even if this field goal is successful, you will get the ball back when we come back after Eastern Washington's field goal attempt. 7-3, just over 90 seconds remaining. College football on SWX is sponsored in part by Pella Windows, your local windows and doors experts to help make life brighter. Idaho elects to use a timeout to put 1:35 on the clock as Eastern Washington sends out the field goal unit. Soren McKee was good from 31 earlier in this game. This will be from 39. 39-yard attempt for McKee. A chance to make it a one-point game. Nate Bell also the holder. Keep that in mind. The boot on the way is up, and it is good. So Eastern Washington Comes away with points on 2 different drives, but still trail 7-6 and 131 for Idaho, Bill, to maybe do something when their offense returns to the field.
Well, points for Eastern Washington important there. They would have loved to get in the end zone, Austin, but you get some points, you give yourself a chance. And keep in mind, Eastern still has 3 timeouts. So if Idaho comes out, clearly Thomas Ford taking that timeout on 4th down indicates that he wants to try to get downfield, maybe get some more points here to wrap up the half. Eastern, if they can string a couple of defensive plays together, have timeouts of their own. So still plenty of time on either side to see, based on what we see happening here.
Idaho has not had too much success throwing the football. 5 for 8 is Jack Wagner, but just 52 yards. Now, however, it does have the 1 touchdown on the board. That was a 26-yard catch by Marquand McCraney in the end zone.
Now, in the last throw that Wagner made of any consequence was picked off by Eastern, so that's probably in the back of his head as well, and you just have to take care of the football here. Certainly you'd love if you're Idaho get down and get points, but you've got to take care of the ball first and foremost.
Trace Higgins, Braden Rice, both back deep for the Vandals. Run up and the boot from Hunter McKee, and this one's going to chase Higgins into the end zone. He'll try to run it out. Trace Higgins looking for a lane, won't find one, strung out and dropped. The Eastern kick coverage team absolutely screaming down the field.
Well, that's the first thing you look for, too, if you're a coach on the Idaho side, is can we get any kind of field position if we do intend to go down and score points. So does that impact what you do offensively, your Idaho? If you're going to go ahead and just run the football, try to run it out. Again, Eastern with those 3 timeouts, no reason to take him into the locker room with you. Be surprised if Aaron Best isn't quick to call a timeout if they can get some defensive stops here.
Drew Carlson worth a shout out there, as he was the redshirt freshman on the kickoff team, making the coverage there. So the Vandals on their own 13-yard line.
And it is Wagner who's going to come out and start this drive.
And remember, just 1 timeout after Idaho had to burn one earlier. This throw wide of the target, incomplete, and takes just a couple of seconds off the clock. Eastern Washington, all 3 timeouts in their back pocket.
And important there that Eastern doesn't have to use a timeout, right? So they throw the football incomplete, clock stops, just as good as a timeout for Eastern. Idaho wants to be careful of clock here and the fact that they're not in great field position right now.
On 2nd and 10, Wagner throws. This one's caught inbounds. And it's Ryan Jesiaro. First time we've called the name of the outstanding redshirt freshman, off to a great start to his career.
Yeah, he's bent over a little bit. He came down on that shoulder, clavicle area. Hopefully he's okay. Aaron Best goes and calls that first time. I take a look at it here. He landed right on that thing on the right side, trying to get up and get moving. Then you can see there just the pain, and that's not a good one there.
And that's Joshua Wood. So we saw Wood in uniform going through warm-up. Since then, he has changed to street clothes. That is a big development, obviously.
Yeah.
But didn't think we would see him anyways once Idaho went with the Wagner and Koch duo.
And we'll keep an eye on Cesario to see if that's just a stinger that he's able to shake off and keep going with. He's not in on this important 3rd down for Idaho.
3rd and 4. Eastern Washington with 2 timeouts. It's Elisha Cummings in the backfield. Instead, Wagner looking to pass, steps up, but he's dropped. Well, that is a sack. Timeout called by Eastern Washington. They are going to get the ball back.
That's exactly what we talked about. Idaho just really, with that first down incompletion, made life really easy on this defense and on Aaron Best in terms of how they wanted to approach this series. And they want to try to go down and score a few more points before the end of the half. And, of course, knowing that they get the ball to start the second half, this could be a big point in this game.
Tariq May with the sack that time. Eastern Washington, as you know, plays a lot of different personnel on defense as he comes through with a sack here. 1:10 left in the first half and a timeout still to use for Eastern. And Idaho will have to punt from deep within their own side of the field.
Yeah, it should be good field position here if you're Eastern. Looks like they might set up for a return here.
Cameron Pope, one punt in this game so far, went 50 yards. Vandals hoping he's got another one in as he has to take this out of his own end zone. It's a low line kick and takes a Vandal bounce, I should say an Eastern bounce, and goes down at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, that hit out of bounds. I mean, that was a full-on shank. They came after him. Thought it looked like they were going to set him for the block, but they came after the punt, went off the side of his foot. Talk about good field position for Eastern. That ball hit out of bounds at about the 32.
Yeah, even further than that. So Eastern Washington with a chance now to take the lead late in this first half. They will also have the ball to start the second half. Get another look here at the pressure applied. I was actually very surprised this wasn't blocked.
Yeah, I think fortunate for the punter, it went off the side of his foot. I think if that comes off square, it might have been blocked, Austin. But as it is, Eastern in great field position and a real chance here with 2 timeouts. Actually, looks like showing 1 timeout. Get down there and get another score.
Bell on a run up the sideline and out of bounds with a first down. Eastern Washington quickly inside the Idaho 20, maybe the 21.
And that's a designed quarterback run. You see right there, Yates with a nice block out front. That's exactly what they called. They wanted him just to take it, get left. No intention of doing anything else.
Empty backfield for Bell this time. Looks for another quarterback run. Tries to shake a man. Falls forward. Doesn't look like Aaron Best will use his timeout yet. Maybe he will.
Yeah, they got a flag, actually. I think that's it. It looks like it's going to go against Idaho. Maybe a face mask?
I didn't see it at
first. It came right at the tackle. Looked like the flag was thrown right as Bell was going down.
Been just one penalty called in this game. It went against the Vandals.
Eastern started to point in the Idaho direction. Of course, they always do that.
Right.
They always do. They always think it's the other guy.
Here's our referee, Mike Besner.
After the play, personal foul on the defense number 96. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. Eastern Washington has a 10-second runoff option.
So Zach Krotzer called for an after the whistle penalty, which will move the ball even closer for the Eags.
Yeah, so it's going to be 1st and goal at the 9, and he mentioned the fact that Eastern has a 10-second runoff. They won't take that. They want more clock. We'll see if we can take a look later on to see exactly what Krotzer did.
So goal to go, Bell. Pressure coming from behind. He throws for the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Eastern Washington. And they have the lead. Miles Williams, his first touchdown of the season.
Well, they've been waiting to fire the cannon all afternoon, and they wait just until intermission to get it off. And what a great job by Eastern. Number 1 defensively to stop Idaho inside of 2 minutes. The short punt. And then Nate Bell does what he does best with his legs to start off and then finishes it off with the arm. Great way to wrap up this first half for the Eagles.
Extra point up and good. It is a 13-7 lead for the Eags. Go back to how big was that penalty. Get another look at the touchdown catch from Williams. Eastern Washington, like we said, it felt like even when they were trailing, were dictating the game in a way that they wanted to. You look at the stats, time of possession were heavily in Idaho's favor after the first quarter, but Eastern has wrestled it back to almost a stalemate in terms of how the offensive possession time has been shared in this first half.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, even total yards looks like it's in Idaho's favor, or it's relatively close. It's been an evenly played game, but for some reason it feels like Eastern has had the momentum most of this first half. And Well, I'll tell you what, Austin, closing out this first half with a score, knowing that you're going to get the ball back, assuming that you can keep Idaho from scoring here in the last 44 seconds, that could be really big. And I go back to that 2nd and 32 on the drive where they picked up the field goal in the second quarter. I mean, it was only 3 points, but that was an important 3 points for this Eagles team.
It'll be a touchback, so Idaho, if they want, does have the one timeout. Maybe try and get something going, but throwing the football has not been a success. Just 58 yards through the air for this Idaho offense.
Yeah, Wagner just hasn't looked comfortable back there. He's going to come back out for this series, but you think back to the last time they had the ball, 2 balls batted down, he's thrown a pick. So not a lot of positive things happening through the passing game for Idaho right now against an Eastern team who's given up a lot of yardage through the air this season.
Elisha Cummings in the backfield. Wagner steps up looking for something to develop. He's dropped right around the line of scrimmage, and that will get the clock moving. Tick down to 30 seconds. I have to imagine the Vandals aren't going to really push the envelope here. Wagner throws, looks for his man, a little bit low, but caught. And that's McCraney, and then a timeout taken with 18 seconds left.
That's going to be Idaho calling that timeout. So I don't know, the way they're going right now. I'm not sure Thomas Ford doesn't want to just get in the locker room, but they're going to burn a timeout. Of course, if they don't pick one up here, does Aaron Best do something? I wouldn't go to the kitchen just yet. Well, you're sitting here watching this game.
Remember how close the Eagles were to blocking that Idaho punt that happened a moment ago. It resulted in a shank, but Eastern was right up there. Nothing guaranteed anytime you have to make a long snap.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I don't think Idaho wants any part of that if they can avoid it. Interesting to see what Aaron Best will do here if they don't pick up the first down. Aaron Best going right up next to the official, watching him on the sideline. He is right next to the referee.
3rd down and 4. Wagner drops back, steps up, shakes a man, and will have a first down and a good carry by Jack Wagner. He's out of bounds with 11 seconds remaining. So now if you're Idaho, you can maybe even use the middle of the field with the one timeout left and maybe get a chance at a long field goal opportunity at the end of this first half. Nice play by Wagner.
Yeah, it was. We haven't seen that out of Wagner. He's held on to the ball and tried to make something happen with his arm. Finally, he sees there's really nothing downfield, but just a nice big lane for him to run, and he takes off. Important first down there for Idaho.
So 11 seconds left, ball at the 46-yard line. Wagner will let it fly for the sidelines. Got his man and a tiptoe catch. And it's McCraney again to the 31-yard line with 6 seconds remaining. Idaho closing in on field goal territory if they're not there already.
Boy, talk about a great throw here. Just on the money to McCraney, and 6 seconds left. You think Idaho's got maybe time to throw something short, get a timeout, buy themselves a little more yardage for a field goal attempt here.
23 yards on that throw and catch, the 2 longest receptions of this game coming from number 0.
Can't run around a whole lot if you're Wagner.
He drops back. Hit as he throws. This ball's
live.
loose,
That ball is live.
and it could be a fumble. It rolls out of bounds with no time left. Now, if they look at this and rule it was an incomplete pass, there could be some time coming back on the clock, but the Eags are running off the field.
Yeah, Idaho's sticking on the sideline, just waiting to see if something else might be called. So the officials, Eastern might want to think again, and felt like that ball was, looks like they're going to.
And now both teams are heading to the locker room, so I believe that was ruled a fumble. That rolls out of bounds and ends the first half. Idaho had a chance to maybe attempt a long field goal. Instead, they come away with no points. 13-7, the Eastern Washington Eagles leading here in Cheney over their rivals from Moscow. Welcome to Halftime on SWX, brought to you by Spokane Colleges and Education Design with life in mind. Back here in Cheney, a 13-7 lead for the Eastern Washington Eagles over the Idaho Vandals. As we bring you back inside the press box here at Roos Field, joined by my broadcast partner, Bill Ames. I'm Austin Getz. Well, Bill, we packed a lot into that first half. Not a lot of points, really, just 13-7 the lead for the Eags. But a lot of possessions, some turnovers, some key plays on fourth down. I mean, we had about everything you could ask for.
It's a typical game on the Inferno, right? We see a little bit of everything. And defense isn't typically what you see here, but both teams have really stepped up defensively. But as you've said throughout the course of the first half, Austin, as we look at the stats here, it has felt, despite the fact that it's really even throughout the statistics here, like Eastern's had the momentum. Like they've played better. They've stepped up when you needed to. Nate Bell seems to have real control of the offense. And the fact that they're coming out to start the second half with the ball, I think they've got some really nice momentum given, everything that's happened. And, of course, they have the lead, only giving up the 7 points.
Now, you look at the stats. Keep in mind that the Eastern Washington rush yard total is hurt by that 22-yard loss with the snap that goes over Nate Bell's head. But the thing that jumps out at me is the 87 pass yards from Idaho, just being limited to that. The 83 rush yards as well, because this is a team that likes to run the football. So while they are outgaining Eastern, Bill, it doesn't feel that way. They have not made a trip to the red zone either.
No, they've gone with the 2-quarterback system. Of course, Wood is out, but Koch has been coming in to spell. Do we see more of him trying to establish sort of that ground and pound because that's what he's known for, or are they going to continue to go with Wagner? He's had no success throwing the football. Eastern's really been on to him, knocking some balls down as well. So good game plan so far for the Eagles. It sets up for a really entertaining second half.
We'll take a break and come back, revisit our keys to the game, see how each team got here. A 13-7 lead for the Eags at home over the Vandals. Time to take another look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Don't miss the ultimate sports experience at Northern Quest with game day grub at Epic Sports Bar. Northern Quest, yes, the best. Bill, as we revisit these keys to the game, what are you seeing so far?
Well, you know, for Idaho, they had to have a focus on Nate Bell. I feel like they've tried to spy him at times. Still, he's been able to get loose, 50 yards on the ground, over 100 yards throwing the football. So another Nate Bell type of game. And they're trying to throw the ball. Idaho's trying to set up the, try to set up the pass so they can open up the running game. It just hasn't been very effective. Again, we'll see what they decide to do in the second half. If they go more of the Coke route and try to run the football. I think Eastern's done a nice job on the line of scrimmage. I think their offensive line has really given Bell time to throw the football, and up front they've come up with some big stops, especially on fourth down. And after the bye, a little sleepy to start. But for the most part, it's been a clean game for them, and they've been able to, play some good brand of football, getting some players back as well. So all in all, I think when you look at the keys, you got to favor you got to favor Eastern, and as does the scoreboard right now.
Eastern Washington opened the scoring with a field goal. Idaho countered with a touchdown to take a 7-3 lead, but it was all Eags in the second quarter as they come through with 10 points, and they lead 13-7 here at halftime. We'll take a break and come back. More of your halftime coverage as the Eagle faithful enjoying this one here in Cheney, but the Vandals hoping to sour a second half. We'll have more when we come back. Tonight's coverage of college football on SWX is brought to you in part by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Don't miss the ultimate sports experience at Northern Quest with Game Day Grub at Epic Sports Bar. Northern Quest, yes, the best. The Idaho Vandals have won the last 3 matchups of this rivalry. The last Eastern Washington win, though, came at this field back in 2021, a 71-21 victory for the Eagles. I feel confident in saying we're not going to see that many points in the second half, but what we could see is an Eastern win, or will the Vandals make it 4 straight? We'll find out as we take a break and come back with the second half right around the corner. Halftime on SWX was brought to you by Spokane Colleges, an education designed with life in mind. College football on SWX is presented by Inland Power and Light Company, powering our community since 1937. Dusk here in Cheney, as we'll be in complete darkness soon, under the lights here at the Inferno. Roos Field, where the Eastern Washington Eagles have a sterling record, looking to improve to 3-0 here at home this season. It has not been the start to the season that anyone in Cheney wanted, but if you can get a rivalry win on your home turf, that is something that can certainly inspire a lot of belief in the back half of the season. Austin Getz, Bill Ain joining you. Bill, as we get ready to start this second half, Eastern Washington will have the ball first. I'll ask you what each team needs to do to get the win. Let's go first for the Eags, since they currently do have the lead on the scoreboard.
I think the balance on offense is what really stands out to me. And they've run the ball fairly well. They've picked their stops throwing. They haven't had any big plays. They've just been willing to take what Idaho gives them. I think more of that and some timely defense will be key. And for Idaho, Austin, I think it's really, again, it comes down to, who do they want to be on offense? Are they going to be a team that comes out and tries to throw the football? They didn't have really any luck doing that. Koch had some success running the football. And can you still really just depend on that style where you throw a couple different options out there? It's going to be interesting to see that. Both defenses playing really well though in the first half.
If you're Eastern Washington, I think you have to commit that you're going to have to throw the football.
Yeah.
You can't just have a running attack try and salt away 30 minutes of game time.
Well, and let's be honest, running the football means Nate Bell's got the ball in his hands. I mean, they've got 7 yards of total offense, or sort of total rushing offense outside of him. So he's definitely been the one, and a lot of it's been designed runs for him as well. So yeah, you're right. They're gonna need to spread it around a little bit.
Run up and the boot, and we are underway in the second half. A touchback here, so the Eags will start, and we got a stoppage here. I thought we did. Thought there might have been a penalty. Instead, it will be a touchback, so the Eags coming out to start the second half, leading this game after trailing for almost the entire first half, but putting together a burst of points in the final minute and a half to steal the lead at halftime.
Both Cronquist and Garrett in that first half, pretty nice job. 6 catches for 70 yards.
Play action, Bell flushed out and dropped. Matthias McLean. And that is a way to get a lot of energy back into that far sideline. A huge loss to start the second half.
Well, defensively, that's what you want to do. You want to try to really limit him. Good pressure up front, right through the middle, forces him outside. And nice job of contain, not letting him come through. The first look wasn't there, and Bell tried to go left, and just nothing happening. Great job there on first down.
Loss of 9. Back to the air. Bell looking. Here comes the spy. Will throw it for the sideline and out of bounds. And after you mentioned on that first drive that the Vandals hadn't spied on Bell, they've done a good job of not letting him get out and just pick it up with his legs.
Yeah, there on that play, Eastern, tried to go in a bit of a scramble drill. Problem was no receivers really responded to that and came back to the football, so Bell smartly just threw it out of bounds. But if you're Eastern here, just try to pick up enough yards where even if it's not a first down, you can give your punter a chance to change field position a little bit.
Bell tries to set up the screen. Here's Nolan Ulm back to the original line of scrimmage, but a 3 and out. The Vandal defense coming out with exactly the start to the second half they needed.
And exactly what Idaho was looking for is just, get them off of the field. Eastern's going to be happy that at least they picked up enough yardage to, again, give the punter a little bit of a chance. But Idaho couldn't have asked for anything better to start the second half than get the Eastern offense off the field.
Landon Ogles comes back out. We saw him be dangerous early with a punt that went out at the 1. This time he needs to put the big leg into it and try and flip the field as he's standing on his own 10-yard line. And it might have been a fake, or maybe he just didn't want to put that one up in the air, but that is going to be another turnover on downs. Here come the Vandals.
Wow, I mean, that was just the rugby-style kick, which is what you saw, left foot kicker. He wanted to go out to his left, rugby-style kick, and I think he just felt like he didn't have enough room to get that off. You see it here.
Yeah, that was not a designed fake.
No, he could have kicked that ball. That was a poor decision.
He did actually get that ball off.
He got it off, which was about a 10 to 15-yarder, but still tough spot for this defense. And
I thought he tried to throw that forward.
Oh,
so
boy. Well,
it does go forward for at least a little bit, but it gives the ball to the Vandals on the 35-yard line. And guess who? Rocco Koch to start the second half with a carry down inside the 25.
And this is where they've had success, is with him running the football more so than Wagner coming in trying to throw the football.
For Koch, that's his 7th carry. He's over 50 yards, averaging about 8 per carry. And remember, he had the longest of the game, wiped out mostly due to a penalty.
And that's your best shot right now for this Idaho offense to try to gain some level of momentum after a big stop by the defense is get that big, powerful quarterback into the game, let him carry the football.
Nate Thomas to lead block. Koch, nothing to find this time as the Eags rally to the football. Reed's son, Samurai Anderson, all in on that tackle.
Yeah, and if I'm Eastern, I just go man coverage. I mean, you take every eligible receiver there for Idaho, you just man them up. Everyone else is dedicated to Koch as Wagner comes back into the football game after that short loss. They've had no signs of trying to throw the football with 16 in the football game. And here, Wagner, you assume, is going to try to pick that up through the air.
Wagner was going to hand it off to Thomas, then it popped up in the air. He had to go grab it. It's another tackle for loss, and now all of a sudden the Vandals in 3rd and long. And this would not be an easy field goal from here, not with how the Vandals have struggled kicking the ball.
Just a messy exchange. You could see that it looked like Wagner, wanted to hand the football off, but Thomas not ready to accept it, and that created all kinds of problems. Wagner looks back at Thomas to find out what happened, and after a nice start to this drive, they've lost 3 yards, put themselves in a difficult position to pick up the first down.
Justice Laulu blowing up that play. 3rd and long, Wagner to pass. He's well protected. Now steps up into a collapsing pocket, runs forward, and gets positive yards, so that will make it a shorter field goal try. But the Eastern defense, after a punt of just 10 yards, does give up a first down, but does not let the Vandals crack the end zone.
Austin, you talked about, what's been the difference in this game. I think situations like this, Eastern's been here before with this defense where they've been able to, really hold Idaho out of the end zone for the most part. And if they are able to only give up 3, what a win after a terrible start offensively and special teams wise for the Eagles.
This is Owen Adams. He's 3 for 3 on the year. This from 38 yards. It is up. It is slicing. It is no good. And they come away with nothing. The kicking game has been brutal for Idaho this year, and it continues to be a struggle here as it's a 13-7 lead for Eastern Washington, who are getting the ball back. College football on SWX is presented in part by your local McDonald's restaurants, proud sponsor of the McDonald's Team of the Week, featured every Friday night at 11:15 during nonstop local KHQ's SWX Overtime.
I'll talk about Team of the Week. I mean, talking about high school football in the greater Spokane area. How about the Cheney Blackhawks just down the road? I mean, they've turned it around, beat the Meade Panthers last night. In a game that you never would have thought that Cheney would be able to compete in. They've really turned that program around, so credit to those kids.
Saw that game right here on SWX last night. After the missed field goal from 39 yards out, the Eastern Washington Eagles take back over on offense. With a handoff here and bursting through a hole is Marcise Yetz, a good carry on first down. Eastern Washington went 3 and out and then had a 10-yard punt and somehow survived with the Vandals not being able to capitalize.
Huge credit to that defense for stepping up and really forcing negative yardage after the terrible punt.
Yetz, this time nowhere to go, and Matthias McLean is starting to impose his will. 89 in white, a dangerous threat on that defensive line.
Felt like Eastern tried to go fast there and might have actually done more of a detriment. I don't think their players were ready to block that. And as you said, big number 89, McLean, right there to make the stop.
Dylan Lane also in on that, and it does back Eastern up a bit, so this is now a 3rd and 7.
Eastern was pretty good on 3rd down in the first half. In situations like this, 3rd and 7 or less, Bell was able to find some open receivers.
He'll set up to pass. Moves out to his right, throws, has his man, but a tackle short of the line to gain. That was a good job to rally to the football by Matt Irwin. And that is going to bring up a 4th and 2. Eastern Washington has not been scared to go for it, but they are going to send out the punt team.
I think they're going to. Are they going to go punt here? Oh, here they come, yeah. Wasn't sure at first if they were going to do that. I think smart call here. I mean, it's too early in the second half to, mess around. We saw a lot of gambling there in the first half in situations like this, but now that the game has settled in, this is the right call.
Idaho's not going to come after the punt this time, and Ogles gets away a good one. A fair catch signaled for and caught around the Idaho 30. That is where the Vandals will take over. 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Still a 13-7 game here in Cheney. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule for the Eastern Washington Eagles. After this game wraps up, they'll go on the road to Weber State. Back home on November 1st against Sacramento State, and also at home on November 15th against Northern Colorado. Those are games you could see right here on SWX. Of course, that trip to Missoula against the 4th-ranked Montana Grizzlies, who picked up a win over Sacred Heart today, looms large on November 8th. We'll get you the Vandals schedule a little bit later on in the show, but we can tell you that they are back at home next week hosting Portland State, another game you can see here on SWX. Much better punt from Eastern Washington that time, but the Idaho Vandals with the ball back in their hands, again, just a touchdown away from tying this game. If they can put something together, Rocco Koch is going to throw. It's incomplete. His first pass attempt, we were so excited to see when they were going to pull it out. I was thinking they were going to try some, play action, deep shot over the top. Went for the high percentage throw, but it's incomplete.
I think we all got a chance to see why he's a running quarterback. I mean, that throw was pretty ugly. That's not a part of his game necessarily, and just tried to push one out there for the completion. You're going to keep him out there, but clearly running the football is what they intend for him to do.
Second down after the incomplete pass. Koch, handoff. Cummings looking for room around the edge. He's strung out and sent out of bounds. Just nothing to develop on that short side of the field as Drew Carter chases him towards the sideline.
Yeah, great job by Carter. And really this entire Eastern defense, they move laterally really well. It's hard to get sideline to sideline in this defense. At times they get gashed, up the middle and overpowered by those bigger offensive lines. But there, Carter just did a great job to keep Cummings from able to turn the corner. Now you've got 3rd and 10 plus. Looks like Koch is going to stay in the football game. So looks like an obvious passing down. We'll see how he can do here.
Loss of 2 on that last run. Koch sets up and will pass again. They send the pressure. He takes off. Rocco Koch has plenty of room, and he's got a first down. And that was not a designed run. That was a young man making a business decision and racing out for a first down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looked like, of course, they wanted to throw, but he made one look, one read, and that was it. And I felt like Eastern just did not respond quite as well. I mean, you've got to think when he's in the game, it's going to be run first. So when you're dropping into coverage, keep that eye back on the quarterback and wait for the run. Eastern didn't do that well enough. First down, Idaho.
13-yard gain gets a new set of downs for the Vandals. This time Koch does go with the designed run, met in the hole, and dropped after a very short gain. Still see Koch on the field. Have not seen Jack Wagner out on this drive.
We saw Wagner limp off a bit when he came off after that last possession. I don't know that it was anything terribly serious or anything that might keep him off of the field.
Well, he's got his helmet off and in his hand on that Idaho sideline.
Yeah, so we'll obviously keep an eye on that, whether or not this is Koch's game to finish.
Fumble, ball's on the ground, and the Vandals get back to it.
Well, here's another 3rd down and 10 plus for this Idaho offense on this drive. They were lucky there that they didn't give the ball up. That's the second exchange issue they've had here in this second half. And like you said, there's Wagner. And partner, it doesn't look like he has any intention of coming into the football game, at least on this possession.
If it's not Koch, you would likely go to Nick Josephek after that. Koch sets up, lets it fly, going deep for his man. It is almost intercepted. Was looking for Emerson Cortez Menjivar. It is instead an incomplete pass, and the Vandals have to punt.
Yeah, it feels to me like Idaho was just trying to, create a bit of a punt there on 3rd down. If they pick it off, it's just as good as a punt. And clearly, that if this is where Idaho is going to have to go the rest of this game with Koch at quarterback because of a Wagner injury, that changes things dramatically.
Josiah Good on the pass breakup there. Once again, it's Cameron Pope, a place kicker by trade, out to punt. Gets this one away. It's a bit of a liner. It'll bounce its way to its intended target. Noah Cronquist, who fields it, runs forward for about 5 yards, and the Eagles will once again take over at the 25-yard line, right around there. 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. No points yet in the second half, as it's been a stalemate between these two teams. Bill, what do you see from Eastern? If you know that Wagner, well, you can't know that. If you assume that Wagner's not coming out, you feel like if you can get this a two-possession game and really force Idaho's hand, you got to feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and I think for Eastern's offense here, try to create some easy throws for Bell. It feels like they've tried to go downfield a bit too much. He's had to scramble a bit. Here's a designed run on first down, which usually works out pretty well for them. 6 yards, 7 yards on first down. They'll take that every time. But I feel like if there's an opportunity for Eastern in the passing game to create a few more opportunities in the check down for Bell, it feels like it's either all or nothing for them. So if they give him some of those underneath options, that may serve him well. Of course, running the ball well on first down also helps. They're going to go for it, go again here.
And he falls forward again. This will bring up a third down and short. Keep this in mind because it'll likely play a factor in the fourth quarter. Again, the play clocks on the field are not operational here at Roosevelt. They were working on one end, but you can't have it working on one end and not the other. It's not fair to one team that's not going to be facing that clock. So again, the play clock will be kept by the back judge. When you see the back judge in the backfield raise his hand over his head, very left side of your screen, that means it's 15 seconds. I'll tell you why I bring that up in just a second. First, it's a third down carry for Nate Bell, but he is short of the line to gain, and here we've got another fourth down decision.
Well, I think this is one where Aaron Best is going to go for it, especially considering where Idaho's at in their quarterback spot, although they are going to punt it here. It's an interesting decision to me that you don't feel confident enough, and it's interesting with Eastern. They don't have that power running back. You think back to years past, Tamarick Pierce and some of those bigger backs. They just don't have that this year. They've really relied on Bell, and Aaron Best just doesn't feel like he can pick up those 2 inches or 6 inches that you need to get the first down here.
Ogles on to punt. Low snap. He handles it well and gets it away. A liner of a kick that's ran up and fair caught. And the Vandals will take over. We'll see what they can do on offense. 13-7, the lead for Eastern Washington. The Chisco Cup, the 30th playing of it, here on SWX. College football on SWX is brought to you in part by Top Dog Plumbing and Drain. Locally owned and operated, our pledge is to bring you unmatched service and expertise for your home or business. Don't settle for a good dog. go for the Top Dogs. And we take a look at the upcoming schedule for Thomas Ford Jr. and the Idaho Vandals. After this game, it's back home against Portland State, game you can see here on SWX. Then that road trip to Northern Arizona is a Friday night game on Halloween. Also another massive couple of home games with UC Davis, a top 10 team, and Idaho State, of course, rival from Pocatello, coming to the Kibbe Dome. All Idaho home games you can see here on SWX. The ball comes out again, but I think Idaho was able to get back to it as there's a fight for it. Hayden Kinchelow comes out of the scrum with it. I would trust 37 to get on top of any loose football, as that ball was cleanly out.
Yeah, great hit there by Drew Carter to dislodge the football. And, well, you're right, Johnny on the spot there, Hayden Kinchelow.
It does go for a positive gain. Time not the issue for Idaho, as we're still here in the third quarter. The problem has been moving the ball ever since Jack Wagner left the game, and we don't know his status, don't want to speculate, but it doesn't appear that he might be coming back, and the Eastern Washington defense is starting to pin their ears back. Deshaun Misa flying in for a stop right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're clearly going to crowd the box. They're gonna make Coke beat them through the air, which he really hasn't shown the ability to do up to this point. 3rd and 5, you can still try to run the football, but I'm guessing Eastern's going to go ahead and play man coverage or some sort of a press zone.
We saw them blitz and how rarely they do it the last time the Vandals were in a 3rd down situation.
Could you see some kind of a screen here out of Idaho?
Koch rolling right, pump fake, trying to create separation, floats it up the sideline. It is almost intercepted again. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be another Idaho punt.
Yeah, Idaho's going to bring that punt team out. And partner, I think if you're Idaho right now, if you're Coach Ford, you got to ask yourself, is there another quarterback there that you have more confidence in throwing the football than Koch? Nothing against that young kid, but he just is not comfortable so far doing that. He's meant to be out there running it. And if this offense is going to have any success, I think you've got to be able to put the ball in the air.
Bryce Smith on the pass break of that time for Eastern Washington. Cameron Pope with a great punt. All the way back to the 15. It chases Cronquist, but watch out. Might have outkicked his coverage. There is a flag, and we'll have to see what it is. For now, it's a great return by Noah Cronquist, but we've got laundry on the field. Not a lot of penalties in this game. In fact, just 2 so far, both going against Idaho.
It looks there. You can tell on the screen. It looks like this is going to go against Eastern.
During the kick, holding return team number 10. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down, Eastern Washington.
That will back Eastern up and wipe out a great return from Cronquist. That's the danger of having a good return man. You can't just absolutely hammer the punt all the time, or you give a guy a lot of room to run. Once again, here's the look at the Vandals schedule coming up. Those 3 games at home you can see right here on SWX.
Like you said, that's a penalty. Huge one for Eastern. Going to drive him back half the distance.
Yeah, it is, all the way back to the 6-yard line. And this is Jared Taylor in the backfield with Nate Bell. He has 1 carry in this game so far. Bell's going to pass. He's standing in his end zone, fires, got his man. And that will be a 1st down pickup.
Yeah, and it seems like Miles Williams has been where he wants to go with the football. Or sorry, Cole Pruitt, you're right, partner. Seems like that's where he's wanted to go, is big number 18. Puts the ball right on the money. Gets out of the shadows of their own end zone.
Bell has really spread out the targets today. Bell throws it out, and here's Jared Taylor with it. Taylor makes 1 man miss and turns it into positive yardage. So Jared Taylor, lining up at that running back position, has a couple of touches in this game.
Well, we talked about the fact that Eastern doesn't really have the power back, somebody who can really just lower a shoulder and go through people. Maybe Jared Taylor is that player. We know what he can do. We've seen it from the quarterback position. He certainly likes contact. A little bit more of it there.
You talk about a player to cheer for. Nate Bell, clean pocket, fires out, got his man for a short completion. This will bring up third down. If you're not aware, Taylor, obviously a very scary moment in the second game of the season at Boise State. Had to be backboarded and taken off the field, taken to a local hospital to get checked out. Thankfully was okay. And after missing a few games, understandably, back out on the field. And I have to imagine that either he went to Aaron Best or Aaron Best came to him and said, look, I want to help the team any way I can. We want you to help the team any way you can. Let's find a way to get you on the field.
100%, yeah.
Third and short. Here's Bell. Forward, first down and more. Nate Bell splits defenders to the 30. Biggest play of the game for Eastern Washington, a massive pickup. It feels like the Eagles have the Vandals on the ropes here in the final minute of the third.
You know, it feels like chopping wood. Every once in a while, you just take a couple little chunks out of that tree, and then eventually the thing's going to fall, and there's the big one for Eastern that they've been waiting for. Looks like there's an injury on the field to an Idaho Vandal, so they'll take a look at him and give Eastern a chance to regroup. But what a big play and an important moment there for Eastern when the offense just was having a hard time getting much going.
A 54-yard pickup for Nate Bell, who once again is over 100 yards rushing. Came into this game second in the Big Sky Conference in touchdowns scored with 7. Third in rushing yards, and he is, yes, a quarterback. Has also thrown the ball well today, 16 of 26, 151 yards. Does have the interception, but also has a touchdown.
And Austin, these aren't runs that are just, sort of a read option. I mean, these are designed for Bell to keep. And Idaho knows that as well, and they've still been unable to stop him. And there you just saw the strength of young Mr. Bell, able to break through tackles and get into the open field with that speed.
If ever an Idaho defense needed to make a play, it is now. Clock is running. It'll be under 20 seconds in the third quarter by the time the Eagles get this next snap off. Motion man. Bell keeps it, and he stood up at the line but keeps moving. Nate Bell at the 10 runs over a man for near close to a first down, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Nate Bell almost single-handedly on this drive, whether through the air or on the ground, as the Eagles knocking on the door of a 2-score lead when we come back, the fourth quarter. College football on SWX is sponsored in part by Dr. C Family Dentistry. Complete care for every smile at every stage. No points scored in that third quarter, but the Eastern Washington Eagles now will have the ball on the 9-yard line as Nate Bell, with a couple of great runs and a few passes as well on this drive, has the Eags looking to take a 2-score advantage. Austin Getz, Bill Ames joining you, Bill. This Eastern team is just stuck with it. They played timely defense. They did give up a touchdown and trailed 7-3, but since then, it's been mostly them. I don't want to say it's been all Eastern because then we'd have a blowout on our hands, but they have kept the Vandals in check.
Well, they've done a great job. If you hold a team to 7 points through 3 quarters, it's really the defense that you got to start with, and they've done a tremendous job. Nate Bell, of course, especially these last couple of plays have separated himself. And if you're Eastern right here, Austin, I think it's a matter of, don't turn the football over. You're in scoring position clearly. Obviously, you want to get 6, but take care of the football. Idaho's reeling on offense. They're not sure what to do at the quarterback position. So first things first here for Eastern, make sure you get points.
Yes, you're right. Even a field goal would make this a 2-possession lead. Kevin Allen is in the backfield with Nate Bell here. It has been a quiet day from the running backs. Here's Bell forward, and he's got first down yardage down to the 5, so it'll be 1st and goal coming up for the Eags.
Well, I love the design of that play. They take Allen and they just sort of widen him off the snap, so he remains an option either with the lateral pass or even downfield with the lineman staying, right at the line of scrimmage, and it widens out that defense. It forces them to stay committed to Allen in some case, which is going to open up lanes for Bell. So really well-designed play, and of course executed as well with now 1st and goal for the Eagles.
Motion man, here's Bell looking, firing for the end zone. Tipped and incomplete. Guess who? Ricks right in coverage. He has been vacuum sealed to these Eastern receivers.
So if there's one defender, you called it. I mean, he's the one. He's just been all over the place, made some big plays to, stop touchdowns from being scored. They're just right on the entire time. And, as challenging as it's been at times for this Idaho defense, Ricks has not been a part of the problem.
That is a freshman who does not play like it. So 2nd and goal. Here's Bell. Looks, floats it to the other side. Drops it in the bucket. Touchdown, Eastern Washington. And this time it's Noah Cronquist. The Eags up 19-7 with an extra point coming. And actually it was Miles Williams again. My apologies. Thought it was Cronquist. Instead, it's Miles Williams for the 2nd time today.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I don't know that you could have thrown a better ball than what we just saw out of Nate Bell. I mean, that thing was placed perfectly in the corner of the end zone. Nobody but Williams was going to be able to make that catch. And I think we might see Eastern go for 2 here. But boy, they tried to go to the short side, to Ulm. No luck. So they'll go to the Williams deep in the corner with the important touchdown.
So they'll go for 2 to try to make it a 14-point lead. Here's Bell. Flushed out. Throws. Juggled for a moment. Caught, and the conversion is successful. So a touchdown and a 2-point conversion has Eastern Washington up 21-7. Still a lot of game to play, more than 14 minutes. But the Eags and the way their defense is playing and the struggles that Idaho has had, it feels very, very urgent for Idaho. Here's another look at the touchdown.
And again, you're taught to just throw right to that back pylon, and it couldn't have been placed any better. Williams just snags it, and as we look at the 2-point conversion again, Bell starting off doing it with his legs. And a great job there. I think that was Branch able to just reach back and snag it. The dance afterwards.
Always love the ref just getting in there and just be like, hey, fellas, this isn't Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
Let's get back to the sideline.
Exactly. Wants to make sure it doesn't go on too long. But boy, what a great drive there from Eastern. And again, if you're Idaho, what do? It looks like Wagner done for the night. They haven't had any kind of a passing game without him in there. But they're going to have to try to do something through the air, I would imagine, to get somewhere back into this game.
Sawyer Teeney, who is also a quarterback on the Vandal roster and really impressed the Idaho coaches, would have been in this game if he were healthy. Head coach Thomas Ford Jr. told us this week that he would not be able to go. Somebody that definitely could have perhaps changed how this game had transpired so far. Not saying that if he's there it's an automatic Vandals win, but you definitely feel like the offense would be a little bit more potent. Going back to Bell, though, the yardage isn't going to jump off the page as he's just 157 yards, but he's completed 60% of his passes in this game, 17 of 28, with 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception, and plus all the damage he's done on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking at, nearly 300 yards of total offense between, throwing and running, and that's a good night.
So here's Rocco Koch. Hands things off to Elisha Cummings, who just bullies his way. That was actually Nate Thomas forward for a gain of 6.
And it's not as if Idaho has to go through the air to get back in this game. I mean, they've got the power up front. They're going to go quick. You can see it here. They want to go tempo. They want to get back up to the line of scrimmage. The guys up front are going to have to really assert themselves. Here's a stoppage in play and a flag. Looks like false start on Idaho.
False start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Got some movement up front before things started, so that wiped out the run by Thomas.
Yeah, he just didn't get set. He got up on the line of scrimmage. You saw it there, but you have to be set for a full second before the ball is snapped. That didn't happen. And Wes Bronco gets flagged for the offside.
So backed up after the penalty. Koch rolling right, pressure coming, throws for the sideline, smart decision. Eags got a hand on it, but enough to throw it away and live to fight another down.
And that's what you do when you have an inexperienced quarterback, someone who's not comfortable dropping back and trying to throw. Bring that pressure, bring extra bodies at him, force him to do something he's not comfortable or familiar with. And you have a fairly difficult third down here. You can see all the pressure coming at him from that Eastern defensive front.
Koch 0 for 5 through the air. I don't want to belabor the point, but just a tough go if you're Idaho. He drops back again, fires, and this one's short of its intended target. That'll bring up 4th down. And the Vandal punt unit comes out again. Gotta think that Idaho will be thinking if they can afford to punt much more in this game next time they get the ball back in their hands. We'll start getting pretty late in this ball game. Still 13 minutes to go. Kick on the way. Fumbled. Vandals have it. That's exactly what they needed, as that one was muffed, and Idaho will now have another chance with it at about the 37.
Now your offense is really struggling. Your defense just gave up a big touchdown. Special teams, that third phase of the game, and Cronquist, who's usually so reliable, you see he tries to run before he secures the football, and that's what causes the muff. Idaho right there to recover. And is that the point?
Well, think
where
about
we
it.
Start to see Idaho turn things around.
Dylan McIntyre comes up with the loose ball. So the Vandals are in business if they can just get something going. And like you mentioned, Bill, especially now with the plus field position, you can run it all you want. Reverse. And here's Trace Higgins. Higgins trying to get around the corner. And good for a gain of about 2. Eastern Washington secure on defense, but I have to imagine the playbook from Matt Linehan and Thomas Ford Jr. is going to be wide open.
Yeah, why not? I mean, try everything you can. Great speed around the edge to pick up something. I think the other thing here, Austin, down 14, is you're in 4-down territory. So that also changes things when you know you have 4 downs to pick up the first. It's just, do you feel comfortable doing any of that through the air given the challenges that Koch has had?
He awaits a second down snap. Hands it off. Keeps it. Goes forward. Gain of 3, bringing up into a 3rd and medium here with about 12 minutes remaining.
Well, Eastern is going to be keying in on him. I mean, there's going to be, we talked about Idaho and having a spy on Nate Bell. Eastern's got the same sort of look now, making sure that he doesn't break loose. If he keeps the football and is able to pick up, a lot of yardage, that would be a huge surprise given what Eastern knows of this offense.
Eastern crowd trying to get behind their defenses. The Vandals threatening more right now than they really have most of this second half. Handoff, Nate Thomas looking for a lane, and the big back puts his shoulder pads down, brings it up into a 4th and 2, and I believe this is no decision to be made. The Vandals are going for this.
Absolutely going to go for it. And I would imagine that it's either going to be Thomas or Koch on some kind of a read. Just get what you can for this first down. Maybe bring an extra body or two. You see big number 71 is coming into the game. That's Howard Stedford, big offensive lineman.
Who knows, could be getting the refrigerator Perry treatment handed off to him.
He's going to line up at a wing there. You can see.
This feels like Hayden Kinchelow territory. Instead, it's Koch, and he's got, maybe he doesn't. I thought he had it. This is going to depend on the spot. He might be short.
Well, the initial spot showed that he was short, but it looked like he might have gotten it initially.
Eastern Washington football. They just signaled it and didn't even need a measurement.
Well, they're going to say Eastern, but I got to believe they're going to take an extra look at this to see, first of all, where was the ball? See if we can get an idea here. This might be a difficult look. And that ball tucked in and never really extends the football, and that might be all the difference as they take a look.
I don't believe that they're going to review this, at least not yet. The offense is out for Eastern. The defense is out for Idaho.
Once again, the Eastern defense does its job. I mean, talk about, an incredible effort. 7 points through over 3 quarters of play given up by this Eastern defense.
Here's Nate Bell. A first down carry, goes forward. Ball security now becoming paramount for Eastern Washington, as it always is, of course, but you just open the door a little bit for Idaho with a fumble on a punt return. You got to avoid giving away any more possessions.
How about this defense, Austin?
Absolutely.
They have a shank punt earlier in the game. They bow up, don't give anything. They've had a couple of other, unfortunate things happen. Their defense steps up, and then again there after the muffed return, Bell able to pick up the first down.
Smart decision, too, as he slides down. Eastern Washington looking to salt away this remaining 10 minutes. I want to go back to what you said to the Eastern Washington defense. They've allowed 213 yards in this game. They came in averaging opponents going for 500 yards against them.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've played some of the best offenses around, and a couple of FBS teams too. That'll inflate that number. But without question, the best performance from this defense all season so far.
Yeah, and an Idaho offense who averages 27 points a game.
Handoff really doesn't go anywhere.
And we know, I mean, listen, this is not the same Idaho offense that we've seen
Correct.
over the course of the season. I mean, they're back to their third-string quarterback, and so they're struggling just trying to make anything happen. But nonetheless, this is a defense that, again, typically when we're out here in Cheney, Austin, you don't see this defense only giving up 7 points against the Big Sky opponent. So they got to feel really good, assuming that they can hold on to this about, the effort out of that group.
Clock, the most important thing for the Eastern Washington Eagles, that and not coughing up the ball. But Nate Bell is going to pass. He throws for the sideline. Did he catch that? He did. Oh, my goodness. He might have been getting interfered with as well. Miles Williams have a day.
I was looking for the flag. I wasn't really even paying attention to the receiver because I figured there had to be some contact and a flag had to come out. But while all that's not happening, he just goes out and catches the football. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. What a great job of concentration.
So fresh set of downs as we tick down towards 8 minutes to go. And in motion. Handoff. Here's Marcit Sietz. Just goes right into the teeth of the line. Gains for a few yards.
One of our keys coming to the game was for Eastern was really to try to control the line of scrimmage. And I got to tell you, I think that offensively they have done a really nice job against an Idaho defense who, through most of the season has played really well. This offensive line of Eastern, I feel like, has won the day, giving not only Bell a lot of room to run, but on occasion those other running backs as well.
Bell fires. Ooh, dropped over the middle. He had his man, Wesley Garrett, but just unfortunately through his hands. The drop hurts because it brings up third down, but really it stops the clock at 7:15. But that was a strike from Bell.
We hate to see that. I mean, but you're trying to continue to keep some semblance of your offense going. I mean, that one, certainly can't blame the play call. It was executed well outside of just not catching the football.
So third down, partner, we talked about when was the last time you saw only 28 points scored here at Roos Field. I'll give you an answer after this third down play as Bell floats it up the sideline, incomplete. And so that'll probably bring up a situation where Eastern has to just try and take a little bit of a short punt unless they want to try a 51-yard field goal.
It looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field.
Honestly, I don't hate that. Things can get wonky if you're trying to, snap it to a punter or try a field goal. And, if worst case scenario, you turn it over here, Idaho takes over, down 2 scores with 7 minutes to go.
I mean, you really, you're talking about maybe 20 to 25 yards of field position if you do punt it. So,
although
unless you're trying to draw them offside.
Nate Bell has really done everything in this game. A little quarterback punt here, maybe. You never know.
And Eastern's going to call timeout to talk about it a little bit. So who knows? Who knows what we're going to see when they come back out onto the field?
When was the last time we had 28 points here at Roos Field? I'll give you the answer next.
Stay tuned.
College football on SWX is brought to you in part by ServPro of Spokane County. If your home or business is ever damaged by fire, water, or an unexpected incident, trust the pros at ServPro of Spokane County to make like it never even happened happen. After the timeout taken by Eastern Washington, they do put the punt team on the field as they're looking for a little bit of a sand wedge, lob wedge right here. Drop it inside the 20, and we did see one punt from Landon Ogles go out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That feels like it's a lifetime ago of how this game has gone.
Well, I like this decision. I mean, you can certainly go for it. You don't pick up a ton of field position here, but with the struggles Idaho's having, why not make him go a little bit further if you can down this inside the 10?
Fair catch called for, and maybe about the 7 or so. We'll take another break and come back. Idaho with the ball, 7 minutes to go. They need to get offense in a hurry. This portion of the game is brought to you by Perfection Tire and Auto Repair. Nobody beats perfection. You want to talk about the last time we had this low scoring of a game in Cheney here at Roos Field? You got to go all the way back to the 2021 FCS playoffs. A first-round matchup with Northern Iowa that the Eags won 19-9. Eric Berrier, still quarterback at that time. Nolan Olm, team captain, still playing today with a touchdown catch in that game. And current Eags running back coach Tamarick Pierce, 9 carries for 49 yards. How about that?
Well, a new quarterback for Idaho. You talked about Nick Josefek as a potential option, maybe as a better thrower. Well, he's getting his chance here. Try to get Idaho back in the game.
He rolls. He's in his own end zone. Got to be careful here. Throws it. And believe that made the line of scrimmage, so that should not be intentional grounding. If it was, it would have resulted in a safety. We talk about Josefek, young man from College Place High School in Walla Walla. Appeared in 6 games last year. Threw for 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Has not appeared in this season yet, but has been on the squad since 2023. And a chance here to play hero for the Vandals if he could get something going. Still 7 minutes to play. But he's facing a mighty challenge here, starting this drive in the shadow of his own end zone. Drops back, throws over the middle, sails his man. Looked like there might have been some contact there between Jake Cox and the defensive back, but no flag here.
Cox was just, completely covered, trying to fit something in there. Nothing doing.
So that'll quickly bring up third down after a couple of incomplete passes.
You see here, linebacker just right there. Cox didn't even get a chance to get his head around before the football came. And yeah, we talked about it earlier. I mean, Joseph more than likely was playing Nate Bell all week on the scout team for the Idaho defense, not running his own offense. Tough spot.
Third down. Throws over the middle. Somehow squeezed that into Marquand McCraney. Good throw, great catch, and a first down for the Vandals, who moved to the 30-yard line with the clock rolling under 7 minutes to play.
Boy, what a big play at a big time. McCraney, haven't heard his name called much at all since the first half. But boy, they needed that one big there.
Nearly just pulled down another spectacular catch. That intended target that time was Nolan McWilliams.
See if Idaho can make anything of that, but what a big play there on third down, going back to the catch by McCraney.
Now 6 catches, 87 yards, and Idaho's lone touchdown in this game.
You talked about it. I mean, they still have time. They've got all their timeouts, over 6 minutes to go. I mean, they've got to get the ball down the field, but clearly this is a better option. Joseph throwing the football.
Pressure, Joseph. He'll tuck it and run, get a couple yards, get out of bounds.
Again, it seems like most of this second half, Austin, Idaho's been in 4-down territory. You got to believe that that's true here as well. So you got about 2 plays to pick up about 8 yards. If you're Joseph, you don't need to try to pick all 8 up here. Just get a good enough chunk where you get enough of an opportunity on fourth down as the clock continues to run.
Completion to McCraney went for 22 yards. Joseph quick fires, got his man. It'll bring up third down as Cummings down to the backside.
I think it's fourth down.
Or fourth down, excuse me, not third, fourth.
No, but, as we talked about, much more manageable 4th and 4, although this will be a big one. Referee's going to hold him up because of some substitutions.
Fourth and a long 4 for Nick Josephek. Stands and delivers for the sideline, incomplete. Tight coverage along the boundary. I think it was Drew Carter in coverage. And that'll be a turnover on downs. Take a break and come back. Good effort there for Nick Josephek, his first time on the field. But Eastern Washington takes over 5 minutes away from a victory over their rival. play of the game brought to you by Best Western, and it is that throw and catch from Nate Bell to Miles Williams. Couldn't draw it up any better. Second touchdown grab of the night from Williams, second touchdown pass from Bell.
Yeah, and not a game where Nate Bell just did a ton of things throwing the football, but just enough there to extend the lead for Eastern Washington, and a beautifully thrown ball. Nice catch there by Miles Williams to extend their lead.
Williams tonight, 4 catches, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's been a full team effort. Came in, no touchdowns on the season, and will leave with at least 2. See how the rest of this game goes.
Think back, Austin, the touchdown from Idaho was in the first quarter. I mean, you felt like at that point it was going to be another one of those just shootouts, and the defensive Eastern steps right up.
Kevin Allen strung out and dropped on a nice pursuit angle there from the Vandals, and that'll bring up second down, and that's going to lead to a timeout. Idaho trying to get the football back. Tim Jackson with the stop there. Yeah, I mean, you talk about this Idaho, or excuse me, this Eastern effort. The touchdown from Idaho came with just over 1 minute to go in the first quarter. So if you're the Eagles, so far you've played about 45 scoreless minutes, creeping in on that number. Just been fantastic.
Well, and you touched on it. A defense that's giving up, on average, 500 yards a game is only giving up 7 points to an Idaho team. And again, they've had quarterback issues. So clearly that's something that Idaho struggled with. But they've been scoring points. They scored points last week in a loss to Northern Colorado. They scored points throughout the season. And Eastern comes in here and limits them to 7. Something to really build off of.
Here is the handoff. And now a flag. We'll see if this backs Eastern up even more. After the touchdown for Idaho, the remaining drives in this game include 5 punts, a missed field goal, an interception, and 2 turnovers on downs. Eastern has completely erased the Idaho offense. Of course, you can't say that without mentioning the fact that Jack Wagner left this game and did not return. And, of course, that Joshua Wood did not play in this game.
But, and you're right. I mean, they would have had a much better opportunity, Idaho, if Wagner could have stayed healthy. But as it was, I mean, he was 8 of 12 for 87 yards. So he wasn't setting the world on fire.
Personal foul, shot block, numbers 82 and 44. 15-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Can't go high-low. Can't block a guy up high and then hit him down low. And that'll back Eastern up quite a ways. If anything, you're looking at maybe more room to punt the football here, as it'll be 2nd and 26. It also essentially gets you a play for free in terms of clock time.
And you never know with Nate Bell, but I would think that they would continue to run the football and keep the clock moving or force Idaho to take timeouts rather than risk an incomplete pass or an interception here.
So 2nd and very, very long. To give on the motion, and that's Taylor with it. And Pyle pushed forward. Rugby scrum and down in a heap at the 40-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and long.
Here comes a timeout from Idaho, and you got to feel good. You talked about earlier just how difficult this year has been for Taylor.
That was actually, I'll stop you right there, partner. That was actually Wesley Garrett.
No, I was so ready to give Taylor all kinds of credit.
I was too.
Wesley Garrett's happy that we didn't go any further with that, so we could get the appropriate credit, because that pile moved with him in the middle of it.
Yeah, Garrett was sandwiched between a defensive line and an offensive line, and kind of a helpless feeling. It'll bring up a 3rd and long after the other end of this timeout. Just over 4 minutes to go. You got to imagine Idaho's punting the football if they don't pick up the first down. I should say Eastern Washington would be punting the football. So it sure seems likely that Eastern Washington is going to improve to 3 and 4, including 2 and 1 in conference play, while Idaho will drop to 2 and 5 and a stunning 0 and 3 in Big Sky play.
Yeah, nobody would have seen that coming. as we started this season, but it's been a difficult road for Idaho. Injuries have played a real big role. I mean, to lose your quarterback a few weeks ago, and that's tough. And we've seen them try to figure something out here, but this is an offense that just has really struggled. Less than 200 yards of total offense here today. That's not going to win you too many games, especially on the road.
3rd and 14. And now movement. Zach Krotzer thinks it's on Eastern Washington.
Well, we'll see if the officials agree with him. No one's signaled anything just yet. They're going to talk about it.
Okay. False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Back Eastern up even further.
Oh, yeah, you see the right guard there flinch just a little bit. Idaho reacts to it, starts pointing the other direction, making the life easier for the official.
So 3rd down. Bell is sent out of bounds. The clock will continue to wind until Thomas Ford Jr. takes his 2nd timeout. So 1 timeout remaining for the Vandals as the Eagles will come out and punt this ball after the timeout. That was their last timeout, excuse me.
Yeah, I think that's it for them. So they'll again be in a situation more than likely deep in their own territory, having to come out and throw it. Josephek, I would guess, would be the option because of that. So going to have to make it happen pretty quickly. Rain's starting to come down here in Cheney and behave for the most part as we get ourselves deep into fall.
Ogles on to punt. Great pickup there as Vandals were sent in the house. That'll roll into the end zone for a touchback. Idaho with 4 minutes and 2 seconds, no timeouts. Now you got to be looking for big plays, not just moving the offense. You got to fire off chunks. We did see it from Josephek on that 22-yard completion to Marquand McCraney, which he had to throw into really tight coverage. But at this point, no one can blame you if you're trying to squeeze one in.
Well, and their routes are going to be, more downfield, probably those, 15 to 18-yard in cut or sideline type route. So it means that Josephek's going to need time to be able to throw the football and let those routes take shape.
And it is Josephek here, finds his man, as that's Nolan McWilliams, who is kept in bounds. And a gain of maybe 5 or so.
What a great job there. I think it's Bodie Gardner who's able to keep him in bounds. Is that Gardner? 23? Nope. Oh, 33, excuse me.
That's Josiah Good.
Josiah Good.
And movement here.
False start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
False start on the right tackle, Keegan Henson. And that'll erase the completion. 2nd and 9. Josephek fires over the middle. Got McCraney, continues to have a good game. And now he's going to be up over 100 yards as he picks up a good chunk here and gets the Vandals up near the 40-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, you brought it up earlier in terms of Josephek. I mean, clearly he's more of the threat as we see him take off here and get a slide, but he's more of a threat throwing the football, and it's curious why they may not have gone to him sooner. And moving into games beyond this, depending on Wood's availability and health, might Josephek be your guy from this point forward until Wood can get healthy?
Throws wide of his target there. And a flag as they might get roughing the passer here on Eastern Washington.
Yeah, they're going to get Anthony Quinones, Ben Voigtlander. Roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 97. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, sorry, Tariq May. Thought it was Voigtlander who was closest to the quarterback. Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to. It's not much there, but certainly the ball was well out of his hand, so you can't make any sort of contact with him.
Under 3 minutes to go. Going back to McCraney, now 7 receptions, 105 yards. He's averaging 15 yards a catch. Joseph stands in a clean pocket, throws, and it is intercepted. No, it's not. Thought it was. Must have hit the ground. Reed's son with a smile. Fooled me, did not fool the refs.
Well, he sold it. Let's take a look. Yeah, we'll be able to tell there. Referee was right on. Back judge came in, signaled incomplete.
2nd and 10 for the Vandals outside the 40-yard line.
Second down, 2:50 to go. This will be imagine he's letting it rip. This will be the 10th pass attempt from Joseph, and he wants it all. Going down the far sideline, put it in a good spot. McCraney just not able to find it. I love the thought. Just go deep, and you have nothing to lose. He's been your best receiver all day as well.
Yeah, JoJo Maxie Johnson, great job of staying right there with him. Not interfering, looking back for the football on the deep throw. Nice job there.
Third down and 10, 2:44. Over the middle. And it's a call here. I think that one might have been a pick. It was.
It took a while, and they were looking at it. I'm sure we're going to get another chance to take a look. The officials, well, we've got a flag coming out, maybe an unsportsmanlike on the sideline for Eastern, with everybody coming out onto the field.
I didn't want to jump the gun after overselling Reed's son's attempt.
And I'm not sure the officials are all convinced that he actually caught that. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get a chance taking a look at it, and the officials up here in the booth will as well. They're going to confer. You do have the flag, so it's going to be 15 yards on Eastern, whether they have the ball or if Idaho maintains it. Which, if that's incomplete, Austin, that's going to give Idaho a first down.
Correct.
Looks like the defense is coming back out onto the field, so they may rule this incomplete. And then talk about the flag.
There is no foul on the play. After review, the pass was not completed. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be fourth down. Idaho's ball.
Well, I'm not sure how there can't be a penalty. I mean, you had Eastern, half of Eastern's team out on the field. So they get the call right with the incompletion, but how is there no unsportsmanlike conduct for half the team being on the field? How do they pull that flag back? That's curious to me.
Yeah, that's a very good question, partner. Brings up a fourth down now, 4th and 10. And a shot for the end zone. Might have a man, and it is caught by Michael Graves for a touchdown. What a strike.
I'll tell you what, where has he been? 6'3", 212-pound redshirt senior Michael Graves goes up and gets it with 3 defenders around him. Huge play on 4th down for Idaho to give them a sliver of hope, chance at an onside kick.
This just got a lot more interesting. Michael Graves, just his third reception all year. Congratulations as well to Nick Josephek in his first passing touchdown of this season. Extra point, very important. This would make it a 7-point game. It is on the way and through. So, an onside kick on the way. Here you get another look. That's what I'm talking about. You know, throwing it up maybe into a little bit of double coverage, but let your big body receiver go up and make a play for you.
Well, and he got behind the defense, which, again, if you're a defensive back coach, defensive coordinator, you pull your hair out because there's no way you allow somebody to get behind you on 4th and 10, and he does. Ball's a little underthrown, but you see him at 6'3", 210 pounds. He's going to outmuscle those defensive backs to go up and get it.
So even if Eastern Washington recovers this onside kick, there will be at least one clock stoppage at the 2-minute timeout. But Idaho, other than that, is out of timeouts. So we're not to kneel down territory quite yet if Eastern recovers this, but.
And I'll tell you what, we talk about Nate Bell doing a little bit of everything. He's on the front line of the hands team right now. Your starting quarterback is right there at about the 47-yard line, right on top of the Eagle logo there.
Looking at.
There's yes, but Nate Bell on the hands team. That's awesome.
This is Owen Forsman to kick it. Runs up, and before we get going, we'll have a penalty or maybe a timeout taken by Eastern Washington.
Timeout? Idaho didn't have any, but the whistle was blown immediately.
Perhaps too quick on the kick team. They hadn't signaled it was ready for play to start because they are not walking back towards the sideline like Eastern Washington called the timeout.
Well, it's fortunate for Idaho because Eastern recovered that easily.
And the worry is if that was your best look, if that was your element of surprise, did you just waste it on a play that didn't happen?
Yeah, it went right to him. So they're gonna get a redo here. I don't think Aaron Best called timeout, so that was the officials stopping it.
The only thing I can think of is that referee Mike Besner had not whistled that play could start yet.
Okay.
I just heard a whistle, so we're ready to go. Once again, bouncing ball in the air, and Idaho touched that before 10 yards, so that's not going to count. That'll be a penalty flag on the Vandals, and even though they fell on top of it, did not get the 10 yards it had to go.
Well, it touched somebody, and I think you're right. I think it touched Idaho first, but if Eastern caught any part of that ball,
correct,
then it's live. And I'm not certain that it did touch an Eastern player because there was an Eastern player who went up for it. Take a look here. You can see right there, I think Eastern might have touched that football partner.
That's Landon Cooper going up in the air to try and get it.
You know, we're going to continue to look at it. Remember, that ball's live, so he can get hit. I mean, he doesn't he came inside of the 10 yards.
Result of the play, the kick did not go 10 yards and was not touched. Also on the play, illegal block on the kicking team before the ball went 10 yards. That 5-yard penalty will be tacked on. It will be first down, Eastern Washington.
That is the other rule. There's been a change to onside kicks. You cannot block before it goes 10 yards. So you used to have you put your defensive tackle up front and just have him completely bowl over the team trying to catch it. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that was a great look at it right there. The Idaho player got into, I think you said it was Landon Cooper, before he was able to go up and get it. And so the block plus the touch inside of 10 yards makes it a pretty easy call for the officials, and it's the right one, Eastern ball. And I think at this point, partner, as you said, one stoppage at the 2-minute.
Yeah, if you're Eastern, you snap this once, run it forward. It'll stop the clock at 2 minutes, but you will not have to snap it before that. So on the other side of the 2-minute timeout, you're looking at either second down or perhaps even first if you pick it up. Now remember, last time they just reset, put an extra second on. If you remember last time we had the Eags on SWX against Portland State, they were in a similar situation like this. Nate Bell actually nearly had a touchdown, but had the ball punched out at the 1-yard line, which gave the Vikings a chance. surely something they've talked about in the bye week. Here's Marcic just falls down in the backfield, making sure to hold on to the football, and this will take us down to the 2-minute timeout. So if you're Idaho, as long as you don't give up a first down, you will have a chance to get this ball back, even if Eastern has to punt it away with you with less than 30 seconds remaining. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these last few minutes of this game play out. 21-14 the lead for Eastern. Idaho with a touchdown late, trying to threaten, trying to steal one for the ages here in Cheney. We'll be right back. There you have a look at something that could be consequential at the end of this game. The on-field play clock's not operational tonight at Roos Field. What that means is that the referees are keeping the play clock on the field. And why that's important is that Eastern Washington doesn't have something they can look at and tick down to 1 and snap the ball. The back judge will raise his hands above his head at 15 seconds, then he will put one of his arms out to the side at 10 seconds. But unless Nate Bell has turned and looked at him, I don't know if he'll be able to see that. Meanwhile, after the 2-minute timeout, Bell just runs forward and gets a couple yards, so that'll bring up third down. The clock will be rolling.
And burning that 5 seconds with the run, really important here. But to your point, again, he's going to be looking at that back judge. It's the back judge, the referee that's directly in front of him, about 30 yards in the defensive backfield, that is going to be putting his hands up to let him know how much time is left on the play clock.
Yeah, so we'd love to tell you exactly how many seconds are on the play clock. That means 15. So there's 15 from here, and you'll watch he'll put his arm out to the side when it's down to 10, which shuts off the communication inside the helmet. So Eastern probably not going to flirt with a delay of game. They'll just take the snap. Bell runs to the right, looking for a little bit of room, make sure he's well inbounds and goes down there. So this will be fourth down. So probably what will happen is Aaron Best will take his time out late in that play clock. And you're going to have probably, if you're Idaho, you'll be getting at least the next snap coming around 20 seconds, I'd imagine. Maybe even inside of that.
Well, and would you go ahead, if you're going to punt this football, would you go ahead and just take the 5-yard penalty?
Probably.
Rather than taking time out at 1. I mean, wouldn't worry about that 5 yards. It might actually buy you a bit more room.
Aaron Best, 99th game as head coach here at Eastern. He's 29 seconds from right now away from a win, make it 28.
So got the flag.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down. Please reset the game clock to 30 seconds. 3-0.
Exactly 30 seconds. And now you want to talk about a pressure snap from long snapper Tyson Jacobson, as he will have to snap this back to Landon Ogles to punt it away.
Can we talk about your math skills? I mean, I think you said you're going to get it with about 20 seconds left. You might be spot on here.
Clock math, not exact advanced calculus. But
all your old math teachers were ready to take all that credit.
I played a lot of Madden football growing up. Big 4th down here. Now movement up front, each side pointing to each other. If this is a defensive penalty, I don't think it results in a 10-second runoff because the clock was stopped.
Right.
Delay a game. Defense, disconcerting signals. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
What that means is that Idaho might have been trying to clap or say, hey, hut, and trying to get a false start or an early snap. Honestly, I'll say it, got to respect the effort.
Yeah,
you see if
try
you
what you can here. Right?
So it's a 5-yard penalty, and here comes, again, a pressure snap. Good snap, they bring the house, quick punt away. You don't even care if this one goes into the end zone. Instead, it's going to check up at the 3-yard line. Landon Ogles with a punt that went out at the 1 and another one that goes down at the 3. Sandwiched around a 10-yard punt earlier in this second half. That's about as wide ends of the spectrum you can have as a special teams unit. All that matters, though, was that one right there.
Well, and they brought 10. I mean, the only player who wasn't trying to come after that football was the gunner on the outside trying to down it. And Eastern did a great job of keeping him from the football. And so, yeah, you just got to go 96 in 21 seconds for a quarterback who just threw his first ever touchdown pass.
To borrow a phrase from Scott Van Pelt, you might see the pitchy woo-woo here where you throw it around.
Yeah,
here's Joseph-Eck. Steps up, looking, firing, he's got his man. This will temporarily stop the clock as they reset the chain, so Idaho can come up and spike it as that's a 1st down catch. 15 seconds as it's paused. They restart. Quick spike. 13 seconds left. Smart play by Joseph-Eck, knowing that although it's late in this game, you can still use the middle of the field as long as you pick up the 1st down.
Well, and you could probably, like you said, throw the ball in the middle of the field, maybe get yourself another 20 yards, and then maybe try to hit a Hail Mary. You're going to have a really strong arm. Maybe Aaron Rodgers comes in and puts on an Idaho uniform and throws it 65 or 70 in the air at 40 years old. How about that?
2nd down after the spike. And now he's going to take up and run. 7 seconds left on the game clock, goes out of bounds. So Nick Joseph-Eck, a couple of very cool, poised moments as game clock's now at 6. So this will likely be the last play of the game.
Well, and there's probably no chance he can throw the ball all the way down the field, but you never know when balls get batted in the air. I mean, I like them trying to at least throw something way down there and see what happens versus the lateral game. It seems like, the last time we saw that ever work was Cal Stanford in 82, 83.
If the Eastern band's going to get on the field, they got to get down from their spot right now. Eastern has 3 defensive backs back at their 30-yard line. Joseph-Eck throws. Here's the lateral, the fake lateral. Now here's the real lateral back to Joseph-Eck. He's going to throw it all the way on the other side of the field. They might have something set up.
Watch out.
Here comes Eli Cummings. Cuts inside, still on his feet. Down he goes. That was quite a final play to be had. There is a flag. I believe this was a forward lateral anyways. We'll see what the flag is. If it's somehow on Eastern, the game will still be happening. But if this is a forward lateral, that will be the end of the game. They tried to set up the Music City Miracle right there.
Yep. Everybody gets to go to the sideline for at least a little while. And then
legal forward pass on the offense, number 8. That penalty is declined. The game is over.
Boy, they had something right there. They really did. But what Eastern Washington has is a win in this rivalry series after 3 years of coming up on the short side. For the first time since 2021, they have beaten the Idaho Vandals, and they improved to 3-0 here on the home field.
Well, this is a different place for this team, and they've struggled on the road. It's been a long season, but here at Eastern, and we're mid-October. It's only the third time they've been out and played it in Cheney. It is different for them, and they come away with another victory.
Well, today's player of the game brought to you by Findlay Downtown Toyota on 3rd Street. If you're looking to score the best deals on your favorite Toyotas, come to Findlay. Nate Bell with one heck of a game. Calling the signals, calling the shots for Eastern Washington. Get you his stat line. He goes 18 of 31 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick through the air, but on the ground is where he continues to just bash defenses. 23 carries, 134 yards. Surprisingly, did not hit the end zone, but he hit a lot of his open receivers today, Bill.
Well, he sure did, and it started slow. The offense in general just had a hard time moving the football, but when they needed big plays, when they needed to get something done, they looked at number 2, and he got it done for him like he has been doing it all season, especially here in Cheney.
We'll let you know that you can tune in to SWX next Saturday for more college football as the Idaho Vandals welcome the Portland State Vikings to the Kibbe Dome. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock. Vandals and the Vikings live next Saturday on SWX, your home for local sports. Well, the 30th playing of this rivalry series between Eastern Washington and Idaho was a whole heck of a lot of fun, and it results in a win for that man, Aaron Best, in his 99th career game as head coach here in Cheney. A 21-14 thriller. Eastern Washington picks up the win. That'll do it for us here on SWX tonight. For my broadcast partner, Bill Ames. For our entire SWX broadcast team, I'm Austin Getz saying thanks for joining us. Always a lot of fun. We'll see you next week back in the Kibbe Dome as the Vandals get back to their home field. The Eags have the Cheesco Cup back in their possession.